Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. I almost said Monday. My days are a little shifted around here. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful Tuesday so far. Oh, hold on. I got to pause myself. I got myself going on two screens. Whoops. I was doing my membership gifting before I even started. So let's get going. We've got a lot to discuss tonight. So this will probably be a longer stream. I don't even know if we'll get through everything I want to touch on, but let's roll. I swear, every time I'm gone, like not gone, but I don't like I step away from doing like a long form layout type content. I come back and I'm like, what am I doing? So laying this out, you'll bear with me a little bit tonight because it's only been a couple days, but I still feel like I'm flying blind. Maybe it's just being tired. I don't know. But we'll get through it. We will get through it. Hey, Music City Mom, Blessed Mom, Chris, Rhonda Rue, Pika, Taylor with Stitchin' Bitchin' and more. Ellie Only One, Duchess, Steph, Revival, Lady K Talks. Lady K makes me crack up, but every time I get to pelvic thrusting and Black Betty stuck in my head, and then I'm singing it all day. Hey Tebow, hey Hawkdua, Grandma Sherry. Welcome to the cabana, everybody that was gifted. YouTube gives us 10 gifted memberships for non-branded channels. So that is courtesy of YouTube. Dazed and Amazed, Terry Dean, Grandma Sherry, Lily Rose, Perry, CLK, Liberty Farmer, Alicia J. I've heard it's been a long day on these streets. Inspired by flavor. It's going to be a lot longer tonight. Hey, S. Francisco, Carla, Fiddle Dee Dee, Muddy Puddles. Every time I say your name fucking backwards. Every time. I might as well just name you something different every time because I can't say it right. Penguin Mama, Buckeyes for Life, CLK, thank you for being a member. Patrish, thank you for being here. Claus, it's good to see you. Cranky, Hope's Echo, it's good to see you, Hope. I hope you're doing well. Rainbow, Mystic Butterfly, Tracy, I hope you're feeling better. OG Shorty, Mystic Butterfly. Mike, thank you for the $20 super sticker so much. Thank you for the support. Hey, Thor, Nature Rocks, Angie, Baby. Y'all, we're going to have a combo stream right quick. Fit and Curvy, Janice and Accounting, Shits and Giggles, Chico, Buckeye for Life. If I missed you, I'm sorry. TK, Who's Your Hippie? Kyle is doing a little bit better, you guys. He slept most of the day today, which was great. He slept 13 hours straight last night. Hey, AV, that helped a lot. He's still feeling pretty under the weather, but he definitely needed some rest. So him being home provided that. Amy, Miss Upper Thigh Shop, it's good to see you. I hope your honeymoon went amazing. Hey, Marcy. Hey, Rapunzel. Smiles, Rockabit, good to see you. Yeah, YouTube does some good things. I wish they gave us more, though. Truly. Hey, Maria. And if you're one of the quote unquote haters and you got it, just suck it up. You're not going to learn anything very interesting in my members anyways. It's all shit I say out front. So, I mean, there's nothing really really interesting. So don't be like, oh my God, I got stuck in Nonsense's cabana. How do I get out? Just shut the door. Just shut the door. You'll be okay. Hey, well, there's the hats. Thank you guys. Lucia Chapped, sending you a huge hug. Katie 33. He's doing pretty good tonight, Thor. I mean, he's wiped out, but he ate really good tonight. So there was that. That was really good. Hey, up to good. Hey, Chantel. All right, you guys ready to go on a little tour? Hey, Robin. Melissa, thank you. Tian Tater. Okay, Donna, let me make sure I get through everybody. Mother of two boys, because once we start rolling, you guys, I probably won't be over here much engaged in comments. Nature Rocks, we got a lot to get through. A lot. Holla back at yous. Oh, Chico, I totally forgot it is that day, huh? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't wait to hear all about it. Hey, Gramanini. I had a lot of paperwork to do today and work stuff to do, so my brain's a little. Ooh. Hey, Margot. Elizabeth Lander. Okay, and by the way, Elizabeth, you told me to check my email, and I forgot until I just saw your name. Y'all, I will do that. Somebody will remind me to check my emails. I'm so sorry. I'm really behind. Check your messages. Hey, B Tim. Hey, Snowflake's Nightmare. Oh, yes. Oh, Janison Accounting. Thank you for the support. And that just made my night. Thank you for that. I'm so here for that. So here for that. Hey, Sunday Doodles. Hey, Patty. Okay, let's take a little look-see-loo around. So just so everybody knows what you're about to go into. So I'm going to do a little bit of a fuck you in the beginning, correcting some misinformation, or just not really correcting misinformation, just don't be doing this stupid shit and putting my name into stupid shit. Once won over that, then we're going to take a little look-see-loo of my opinion of why the Lord Lodge has been involved in this, and a little bit of a once over on some of the Lord Lodge things. Again, he has been warned. He engaged in a whole long conversation, was told about a lot of this stuff that he had, was misinformed 4 months ago. He came back with snarky attitude, didn't want to hear, didn't want to know any of it. Granted, I was snarky too, because the dude's first 3-part series was a total train wreck. I was going to do a whole thing debunking it, chose not to, because the guy is definitely looking for attention. But I'm going to tell you a little bit of why I think some of these bigger channels are getting involved in this sector. And then we're going to go back to the optics of what happens when social media creators get involved in these cases, and how they turn from an awareness case into a spectacle in the public view. And we've got March 8th up, and March 8th is a shit show. March 8th, we have new characters inserting themselves. Up to March 8th, we've had nothing but shit show characters inserting themselves. But we got a little bit of correcting to do. So here we go. Let's just take a little look-see-loo here. We're starting off with my probably least favorite creator on this app, Miss Allegedly Without a Brain Cell. Let's go. This all falls under fair use. This is based on my opinion and my opinion only of the idiots you are.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. It is what it is. Grammy of 8, welcome to the Green Team, my love. I'm so glad that you're a member.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome aboard. That was just weird. I'd never seen that before. Okay.
And ready. A, I'm an asshole. B,
someone said
you're a bitch. C, I'm a C word. D, you're a dumbass bitch.
Sent me an email before the last stream ended, but I didn't see it until after the last stream ended. So,
oh my God.
With that being said, I don't want to say who the person is because I don't know if they want to be in this, but they sent me an email.
I don't know if they want to be in this. Ma'am.
Email of a screenshot of our chat from the last stream. And somebody came into chat before we ended the last stream.
Oh, no.
Like right before we ended. I don't recognize their name. It was like Sour Gummy or something like that.
No, can't even.
And they said that nonsense was over.
You would think if you're going to speak on something, right, but this is the typical you. You don't do your research. You don't go check it out for yourself. You just get these emails and then you randomly fill it in where you need to fill it in and try to make yourself a victim. The name is Gummy Red, GUMYREDD. That's the account name. Okay. Made in 2016. You're welcome.
Over on her channel, I guess yesterday or today, I don't know. And had said that
oh my God.
Basically that Nonsense was saying yesterday that I was caught texting with minors. What?
Yeah, what is exactly right? You know as well as I do, you dumb twit, that if that would have happened and been something I would have said, you would have had 1,000 emails right after I said it, because you have people in here screen recording everything I do. So you would have known absolutely right when it happened, if that happened. It never happened, and I will show you guys. Never once happened, but typical Brittany fashion, doesn't do any of her research, doesn't do any of her investigation, but these type of situations she loves to open with because she loves to play the victim. This is her typical victimhood status. Let's open this show with poor me, woe is me, I'm being lied on, even though it didn't happen.
What in the hell? Let me read it. I got the screenshot.
Yeah, you did, because I fucking...
And okay, some of you guys saw okay, some of you got this screenshot too. Good, keep it. For those of you...
You fucking idiot, I posted it on my community wall and said, where's the timestamps? Not to you, even to the freaking account. Of course, we all have timestamps and receipts of the comment. Now, where the fuck did this happen? Never. It never happens.
That got the screenshot, keep that. Hold on to it in case I need it.
You might need it. You might need it after all the lies you concoct and have concocted for over a year now. I would hold on to all of the shit that you're using to play the victimhood with. Probably a good thing for you to do.
So they said gummy red, like the color red. Gummy red said, is it true that you...
With an extra D.
You were caught texting minors? That's what Nonsense said on her stream yesterday. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that. So...
Hello? You there?
So I'm not sure what in the hell they're talking about. I've never talked to minors. What in the world?
You're so...
I don't know. Does anybody know? Has anybody watched her to hear what that...
Yeah. You know what? It's pretty fucking simple, BJ. Come to my stream. Right here. The stream that they're talking about. Right here. Let's look.
Whew. We've been in a shit show.
Here you go. Gummy Red. Right here. What's your thoughts on the political and economic state of the world right now? Oh, right. Not with a T.
Whew.
I think I even said their name. Hold on.
Extreme. Grew up having demons casted out of me and being anointed with oil. Our rooms had to be anointed with oil before we could stay in them, so the demons wouldn't stay, because we were passed on a generational curse down from my mom after my parents got divorced.
Here you go. This is how easy this shit is, Brittany.
Oh. Yeah. Extreme. Very, very extreme. Yeah. Gummy Red.
First time I've ever even seen that account in a chat. Not once in this stream do I talk about Brittany texting fucking minors. Not even remotely close. But carry on.
Whew. We've been in a shit show for years. The economy is in the shitter, and I don't predict it's going to get any better anytime soon.
Oh, pretty simple. Only time I'd ever talked to that account or seen that account. There you go.
The only thing that I can think of that might come from that is
What?
Nonsense did not say that. Okay. Yeah, my children are minors, but
God, you're a fucking idiot.
I don't watch Nonsense, but
And thank goodness for the wonderful people that know and corrected that in her chat. But she didn't even attempt to do anything to figure it out.
it probably was a troll trying to stir up more drama. I hope so. I hope so.
Well, maybe you should do some fact checking of your own instead of trying to use all of your openers like this. Poor you, poor you, poor Brittany got her feelers hurt. Poor Brittany, blah, blah, blah. No, never said. I don't fucking know anything about you texting minors. Never said it.
I hope that's all it was. I don't know. I'm just going to say this for the record, right? I'm not going to say Nonsense did that because I'm not going to put anything in her lap that don't belong to her.
You just fucking tried it. And if it wouldn't have been for your chat, you would have left it right there.
Probably a troll baiting.
Absolutely. And you know this.
But just to be on the safe side, just in case, I'm going to say this. I have never texted minors outside of my family. Okay.
Anything she can do to play the victim. That's it. That's all. Anyways, I just wanted to show that once again, she does any little fucking thing to make herself, oh, poor Brittany, right? Poor fucking Brittany. Her typical opener on everything she tries. It is what it is. But some people just never seem to catch a clue. Literally. All right. And then she had one more time she mentioned me too. Last night, I found this kind of funny. Because you can't understand what I even do for content. At this point, like, I don't expect you to be able to follow it. It's probably way over your head what we're talking about. So probably best you just leave it alone.
I'm sorry, they have. You can't be critical of them without getting stomped on.
She's talking about Chris and Katie.
Illuminati, no nonsense. Queen Bee, the ones who have like talked to them and entertained them, they have made it their own personal mission to rip people apart and defend them at any means necessary.
Nope. Once again, I don't know them to defend them. I don't know where Sebastian is. Don't have any clue what's going on, but the facts are the facts. And most of you have such inherent bias that you can't even see the baseline of what is happening in this case, whether it be Seth Rogers or Chris and Katie. A lot of people, and we're going to talk about this with the Lore Lodge in a moment coming up. A lot of people had inherent bias coming into this, but this is how social media content creators pick sides and choose where they land for content. It's not about following the facts of the case, and you're not being ripped to shreds. Using your own words to correct your bullshit isn't ripping you to shreds.
Siri.
Rosebud that and Rosebud went back and watched
Thor one time in June. I spoke to them one time in June, and it was just Chris Proudfoot.
Camille's hand, the hand video.
It was after I had a really significant reaction to something, and he reached out to Duchess. I've talked about this before, and asked if I would have a conversation because they were concerned about my mental health.
And it wasn't meant in the three-way call that with CP and
Brittany can't understand. So let me walk this through a little bit easier for people to understand what we're doing. I'm going to use Jessica Kent as an example. You don't have to like Jessica. I don't care your personal feelings on her, what you think about her. I'm using her as an example here for a purpose, and you'll see in just a moment. But the other day, for some reason, Jessica Kent popped up on my timeline. It's not somebody I usually even watch, but I found this part to be significantly interesting. And I did absolutely 100% find this very intriguing because a lot of these creators are big. And what she's about to say, we've talked about this before, and I've explained this, what she said before, but this is going to make sense what I'm going into with the Lore Lodge. I know.
Jory's here, Lindsay's here.
I was shocked when she came in mine.
She got some help now. It was getting crazy. Is this jail girl? Oh my God.
And for anybody that is wondering, that is the one and only time I spoke to them. And that is all the contact. I refuse to have contact with parents of missing children for a reason. That was it. That was all. It was very simple. And nothing that was said, by the way, there's nothing that was said that could ever be vetted. So it was a bunch of stuff that nothing that you can do with. Like, having conversations to me with parents puts you in a really bad spot, and it's not something I like whatsoever. So that's why I didn't further.
I haven't filmed a video with Christina since 2020. And it just
Grammy Nini, it was very nice that they were concerned. I was having a real bad reaction to something that we were covering. But at the same time, I felt it was really odd too, if I'm being honest.
You know, she's true crime, and I never fully dove into true crime, and life is just like that, you know? People come and go all the time, you guys. And I get that question all the time. Why is there no more content with you and Christina Randall? Collab with Christina. Do you talk to Christina? Are you friends with Christina? Not everyone is meant to be in your life for forever. Some people.
And it's not about the Christina Randall part. I just want you to hear how she even gets into this part of the conversation, because context is important to me.
Will only have seasons, you know? And
for those of you that don't know, Jessica Kent is, I think she's considered like a ex-prison creator. She's got 987,000 subscribers. What she's about to say is the shocking part for me.
And there's no beef there. There's no problems there. I'm so proud of her. And she, has a very successful channel. It's just not prison. She doesn't work in prison reform. She doesn't talk about her experience in prison anymore. That was a lot for her to talk about in the first place. She's had a lot of trauma. And she wanted to move into something that she was passionate about, and that was true crime. I'm not passionate with true crime. I don't like it. And I know that that's where the money is.
I know that's where the money is.
I know everyone, has been telling me, like,
everyone has been telling me. Now, this part right here, some of you might think, what does this have anything to do with it? This has everything to do with it. There are so many creators right now that have big platforms in other genres and other sectors that are creating secondary channels in the true crime arena, because this is where the money is. And she's going to say professionals.
She wanted to move into something that she was passionate about, and that was true crime. I'm not passionate with true crime. I don't like it. And I know that that's where the money is. I know everyone, has been telling me, like, professionals telling me to go into that. And I just don't fucking like it. I'm not going to chase money. I'm not saying that this is what she did. It would be like this for me because it's not my passion. I'm not just going to chase a niche and go after it because there's a lot of money in it. I'm only going to do what I want to do. And I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. And
so professionals, management companies are telling these creators to move into true crime. 100%. They know where the money is, you guys. That is where the money is. This niche, as she called it, this sector is where the money is. That's why you see so many of these huge creators creating true crime platforms or diving into it, because it's huge money. And especially for like an ex-prison community member, it's an easy crossover because people see you as some sort of reliable source from experience of being behind bars with convicts and things of that nature. I was glad to see that she said she wasn't doing it just because of the money. It's not her passion, but this is why it's exploding. It's just like, if you go back into the 80s and early 90s, there was a couple TV shows that started off, the Geraldo Rivera. I mean, there's people before that, Phil Donahue, Jenny Jones. And you look at how a few of those shows exploded into an entire arena of TV, talk show, all day, smut shows. It's the same thing. It's money. It's money driven. And when she said this out loud, I was like, oh, yeah, that's exactly why. And going into this one, I'm not going to do a full debunking. You guys know that I have dabbled with what I think on this guy. He gets it wrong. He gets a lot of details wrong. But you might be mad at me for saying this. What is he any different than any of these other creators besides having over 500,000? He's got like 600 and some thousand subs, the Lore Lodge. But he's no different than all these other creators that came in and got all this stuff wrong. And that's why it's so important to go back to the beginning and watch this day by day, which is what we are going to be doing day by day. But he said a few things that are very interesting that I want to push back on, because this is why creators with these platforms are moving into true crime, because of the money. He is a great storyteller, wonderful storyteller. Storytelling does not have a place in ongoing active cases that could possibly and potentially impact a missing child's life. Let me say that again. Storytelling has no place in an active and ongoing missing child's case. This is a child's life at the end of this. Not for fodder, not for a story, a real life. But what he says here sat me on my ass, because I was like, what the fuck? What?
From a user called Jameson. And I had read the name Jameson before in Kohler and Thomas's books. I'd read the name Jameson in a number of articles. The name Jameson came up, I think, in one of the documentaries we watched.
And to give a little context here, he's talking about the John Benet Ramsey case. But what he's about to go in is where I'm concerned. Because if this is what people really think, we have danger on the horizon.
And the weird part was, I'm reading through this transcript of an interview that happened with Burke Ramsey on the 26th of December, 1996, which I actually was not aware it happened because it hadn't come up anywhere yet. It was in Kohler's book, and I just hadn't seen it yet. Turns out they did interview Burke on that day. Went about 40 minutes. Most of the transcript has never been released to the public. For some reason, A&E got their hands on it and did not release it to the public and did not include the entire thing in their documentary, which is just, again, to say, guys, if you're not going to actually try and solve the case, just don't talk about it.
Guys, if you're not going to try to solve the case, just don't talk about it. If you think you're that great of a detective, why aren't you working for law enforcement, the FBI, the Secret Service, an investigative agency? You are a YouTuber, a storyteller of sorts, a folklore teller. Why are you thinking that it's your place to even attempt to solve these cases? That is dangerous. Extremely dangerous and concerning for these families and ultimately the missing loved ones. Let's listen to it again.
And the weird part was, I'm reading through this transcript of an interview that happened with Burke Ramsey on the 26th of December, 1996, which I actually was not aware it happened because it hadn't come up anywhere yet. It was in Kohler's book, and I just hadn't seen it yet. Turns out they did interview Burke on that day. Went about 40 minutes. Most of the transcript has never been released to the public. For some reason, A&E got their hands on it and did not release it to the public and did not include the entire thing in their documentary, which is just, again, to say, guys, if you're not going to actually try and solve the case, just don't talk about it.
These people who dabble in true crime, we've heard almost all of these creators, which I don't consider any of them true crime at all. You know that. I don't know what we want to call this genre. The tabloid, the tabloid sector, the smut TV show sector. I don't know what you want to call him. Between the red and green team, I'm getting whiplash. He's a part of the green team, but the red team is no different. It's no different from side to side. The foundation of this goes by the playbook. It's building salacious details and rumor mill into content for content creators, overly speculating, picking a villain, running with it, selling their audience a story. I mean, there's a lot more to it. Am and I detailed a lot more, but it is absolutely not true crime. And if these people are absolutely inserting themselves thinking that they're hail to the no, well, we've heard them say, we've lost so many nights sleep. We're sitting here helping. These people really genuinely believe that they are doing something to help these cases. No, 99% of you are just creating shitstorms. And I'm going to show that.
That's kind of where I was coming from with the title for this one. When true crime becomes crime drama, so much of it becomes that. It's all Law and Order. It's all, it's all CSI. And with Jameson, I was frustrated enough about A&E, right? But then again, it's A&E. They're an entertainment company. That's what they do. Their job is to present an interesting, compelling story that will get you to watch their channels so they can sell advertising revenue, right?
Exactly the same thing that he is doing. No different. Absolutely no different.
There's all the people.
He picked a side. He came in late, picked a side that would be most financially beneficial, in my opinion, to his channel and the growth of his channel. And there we are. He knew 4 months ago. He was called out in posts numerous times. He was confronted in his comment section. He was sent money with super chats to tell him that his details were wrong, that he needed to fact check. He was corrected over and over again 4 months ago. I reshared Janice and Accounting's post today, one of many. He was confrontational. He came in there, said he was trying to find a fucking kid. That was his words, not mine. He didn't care to even put any time. He's had 4 months when he knew his first series was incorrect, factually incorrect. The details of what he was sharing were factually incorrect. He didn't put any time and energy into rewriting anything, redoing anything, going and checking out the other side of things. He knew where he was going with this, and he pops back up, and here he is doing the exact same thing.
People in the comments, some people are talking about.
Let me skip forward a little bit because I don't want to play much of this because it's just not even, there's nothing here. It's just one side or the other. The misinformation to build content.
Just a few days ago.
What?
Oh, yeah. I got into an Instagram argument with a woman who thinks that smoking weed or consuming weed while you're pregnant is totally fine.
The reason I'm playing this is because with an audience your size, you don't name the person here of who you're talking about, but the dog whistle that you do is probably one of the grimiest things I've seen a channel of your size ever do. And I thought it was worthwhile of pointing out.
And has no negative effects. Now, the entire medical consensus.
You can have your opinions on what people do with their bodies and what they consume and things. And yes, but you're not a doctor or to go this far. Whew.
Is that this is not true, right? I mean, smoking anything at all, it could be grass, like literal grass. That's still bad for the baby. Cannabis? THC? There's a consensus on that one. It's bad. It's bad for fetuses. Like, you should not consume mildly hallucinogenic drugs while pregnant. That should be obvious. Anyway, this woman's arguing with me, and I'm just kind of pointing out how, like, she keeps, like, kind of hinting that, yeah, you should go and say something about this. You should make a video. Go tell your 600,000 YouTube subscribers, blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting here like, well, I'm not going to do that because you have 1.5 thousand followers on Instagram. I'm not going to punch down that. Do I think you're a bad, dangerous person who should probably have a CPS visit? Yes. Am I going to?
So he's telling people that he had an argument with this person. So how many people? It was happening on X. They know exactly where to go find this person. Do I think they should probably have a CPS call? Did you guys catch that right there? Oh, don't worry. It gets a little bit worse.
Bring the entire internet down on you? No, that would be rude. That would be mean. I will let CPS handle it. I didn't call CPS. I'm sure somebody else will. Point is,
that's called a dog whistle, and you knew exactly what you were doing. So because somebody was arguing with you in the comment section and you disagree with that person and they stood firmly on this and you stand firmly on that, You are dog whistling to over 600,000 people that this woman is dangerous and needs a CPS call on her. And you think that you should be respected in any capacity, let alone that you are solving missing children's cases? Welcome to the real world. I don't know how old you are, but you act like you're 21 and wet behind the ears. This is so professional, right? A professional journalist. How many professional journalists have you seen do that? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but you is all I can say.
I kept saying, you obviously have narcissistic personality disorder. Otherwise, you'd be able to tell why everybody thinks you're absolutely insane.
Oh God, that's why. That's what he is wet behind the ears. Okay.
The fact that you can't acknowledge that you're wrong and you keep begging for more attention tells me that you have a narcissism issue. Turns out she's diagnosed borderline personality disorder. Yeah. So I was close. I was damn close.
So he has a tendency of armchair diagnosing people too from arguments. Okay. All right. So if you argue with him, you're the problem, and you're either a narcissist or have some mental health issue. This is how this gentleman is handling himself. And he doesn't think he's all about the drama. Okay.
I think Chris is in the same boat, Chris Proudfoot. But my reason in bringing up Jameson and all of this is because I feel like as I'm looking through it, Jameson is, if you look back earlier before the internet, you've got people would always, you have people sending letters, calling in, psychics, people claiming they did it, blah, 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 whatever. But it all got kind of funneled because it all went through to the police department and they decided what they told you. The internet comes into play. The website Web Sleuths comes into play, which is apparently a lot older than I thought it was. I thought that was like a mid-2000s. I guess it's late 90s. Web Sleuths comes into play. And then social media. And then suddenly, crime is no longer something that is written about in books. It's no longer something that is talked about on news programs. It's not something that is, for the most part,
Brantley, that's a very fair question. Very fair question. If he was doing the same thing on their side, the red team, we've classified them the red and green team because we're so, brainiac over here that we have nothing better than the red and green team. But he would be welcomed in with open arms. If he was spreading misinformation and targeting Seth, he would be welcomed in by a group with open arms, just like he is with the green team. He would be welcomed in and open armed, even though what he is doing could impact the outcome of a missing child's case. And it is skewing public perception. But unfortunately, people don't want to hear about that. People don't want to hear and go back to the source of people calling this guy out were a part of setting the foundational misinformation that is held onto in this case, that has been drugged through for 10 months. Some of the very rumors that this guy has repeated in his series were started within the first 10 days by people who have flip-flopped on sides. It's just factual, but people don't want to talk about that. It's all about picking a side, and I'm going to show that. I'm going to show you guys March 8th. We got to go inside. It's windy.
Isolated to the investigative department. It's something else. It's culture. True crime. We get, podcasts and
by the way, just so anybody knows, we are self-proclaimed black side. And when I say black side, it's because I have a black soul. I'm black-hearted, and I wear a black trash bag because I'm pure, straight-up trash that wears a garbage bag, according to all of the internet. Oh, and I also stand behind a pedestal and ride a high horse because I think I'm better than everybody. So me and my snooty ass, we're the black team over here that doesn't fall into any categories because we see the harm that's being done by all sides to these cases, case after case after case, not just Sebastian's case, all of it. And that's why it's so important for me to walk this back. So I've deemed the Islanders the Black Souls.
TV shows and all sorts of stuff. Goes from 48 hours to Netflix has an entire series on the Menendez brothers. Netflix has an entire series on JonBenet Ramsey.
Ooh.
And what it creates is a an internet subculture where you have all these people who are out there and they're talking about it, they're getting involved. And when
Now, he's not wrong on this part. Not at all.
it stays on Reddit and TikTok, and you basically got, people like, oh, well, here's what I think about it. Sure. But something really weird happened with the Sebastian Rogers case. Something that I've never seen before. I've never seen the parents, the prime suspects as far as the internet are concerned. I have never seen them just go talk to YouTubers. And so what had been if you look at true crime, yeah, there's some controversial stories.
Then you haven't been paying attention, because there's a lot of parents that come to YouTubers for awareness of their missing children. So again, he factually is incorrect, because this is a missing child's case. Many parents of missing children come to social media and content creators to bring awareness to their missing loved one. This is not a true crime case at this point in time, no matter how many people want to make it that. It is not. Kenzie, I don't know where your comments are, sis. I'm actively ignoring you because what do you want? I'm right outside. Where'd you go? There was a stray at the pharmacy and it was skinny. So I took it food and I can't find him, but I left. Kenzie, get away from the cats. Get away from the cats now. Leave the cat at the pharmacy. It's probably in a colony. Sorry, guys. Kenzie? That cat is a part of a colony. You're not right. Okay, please drive away from the pharmacy. Please drive away from the pharmacy wherever you are at currently. Please continue to drive away. Holy shit, that's the last thing we need right now is another cat. Okay, all right. I think we might have to block Mackenzie at this point because she's going to give me a heart attack. Can I get back to what I'm doing, Kenzie, please? Get back under the stairs. Kenzie? I'm glad you fed it. Did you go buy? She went and bought the cat food. You went inside the store and bought the cat food? Holy cow. This kid. She's going to come home with tears in her eyes. Okay. Let it go to the colony. Okay. Back to this. Oh, Lord.
He's out there. There's people on both sides of the aisle. And they'll talk about it. They'll fight. They'll have their little wars. But in this specific case, and the same goes for Jameson, because
you're absolutely right. That will be clipped. And oh my God, nonsense is so terrible. She won't let Kenzie pick up another stray. No, we have 5 indoor cats because Kenzie has a cat collecting issue. And then we have numerous outside cats that she rescues and cares for. And this morning, because she was gone, I was having to, because she was watching the cats on the camera outside, because she's got a camera set up to keep track of her strays outside. She sits there at the doctor's office while she's in the waiting room, watching her cats on the cat camera and calling me every 5 minutes to tell me, oh, can you take this one food? Can you put water out there? Make sure this one's there. Is Charlie in the garage? Because cross-eyed, he will make sure and he'll fight Charlie. I had a morning from hell because of Kenzie and the strays. So, somebody call the popo on Kenzie.
She eventually did get in touch with the Ramseys.
And that is a joke. Do not do that. I mean, do not.
In this case with Sebastian Rogers, the Proudfoots first go on actual TV. And then they start going on these podcasts. And they're not huge. They're not going on Sean Ryan. They're not going on Rogan. They're not going on even this show. Even though Chris Proudfoot has a standing invite to come on the show and defend his position. These guys are going everywhere. They're going on 15,000 subscribers, 7,000 subscribers, 25,000 subscribers, mostly female-led channels, by the way. Seth is everywhere. Seth's on...
And that's not factually correct that it's mostly female-led channels in this genre. There's actually a lot of men in this genre. In this particular story, there has been a lot of male creators, but the foundational people that he is talking about that they first spoke to were reached out to by family members. And that would be Duchess, who is an awareness channel. That is typical.
Male-led, female-led, big, small, TV, not TV, everywhere he can be. And I'm not saying I think Seth's a saint, but she sure as hell seems like he cares about finding his kid.
Okay, and right there, you can see the inherent bias because, again, he's trying to imply that Chris will only go on channels that are ran by females, that he won't have conversation with males, However, he just doesn't even understand how the setup of this case even began. So Chris and Katie came out and asked for awareness over their missing child. They came to social media on March 3rd, 2024. They were connected to Duchess by a family member. They weren't even going to go on the show, but then halfway through decided to go on the show. And by the way, Arctic Fox, who is a male, was on the panel with Duchess during this time. I know, shocking, right? Shocking, right? Anyways, and then they did a news interview the following day. Then after that, Seth Rogers did a news interview. That is what happened. That is factually the order of how things went. Janice Accounting says, Burnt Toast shared a post of Lore Lodge. He would fit in perfectly with Betty and Clue. Not surprised. Ooh. Janice Accounting. Yeah, his views are very extremist in my opinion. Georgia Girl Stuck in Cali. Thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to the Cabana.
Chris Proudfoot seems like he cares about controlling the narrative. And you have a bunch of these YouTubers who I think maybe at the beginning they were well-meaning, but they allowed themselves to get emotionally connected.
That's right. It was Trevor Lee. Trevor was on with you on the first one. Yep. Trevor and Arctic. Yeah. Oh my gosh. No, say it ain't so.
To this person and to be, on their side, to have private conversations, to, have, I think there was one thing about somebody having dinner with him at one point. I've never seen that before. And I don't like it. I don't like what I'm seeing.
Okay. So speaking of, you said that you don't like the fact that they're having dinner with people. So I'm not exactly sure who Chris and Katie have had dinner with out of this whole arena at this point in time. If it was Clue and Cletus, if it was SF, if it was Crabtree, I'm not sure. But we know for a fact that Seth Rogers has had dinner with other people. His whole entire green team met and went to Red Robin after the vigil. Like, okay, all right. It's been from both sides.
I mean, we went and sat down with Tommy Booth's mom. We had a conversation with her, but there wasn't a whole war going on. We weren't, getting up there and bashing other YouTube channels who disagreed with us. We were getting up there and saying, hey, I think the police are wrong. And I respect the work of the Smiley Face Killers gang, but I think they're wrong too. Here's where we're going with it. And that was the end of it. But what I've seen with Sebastian Rogers is there will be people who go on literally 7-hour live streams. And all they do is get a panel together to talk about Sebastian Rogers. And when you get into the nitty-gritty, they barely talk about Sebastian. It's all about the...
Correct. That's welcome to the wonderful world of the genre you just entered. You have just became a Jerry Springer.
Drama between Chris and Seth and Katie. And
you are dumping gasoline on that fire because you see how much money there is to it. Carry on.
And Nina and, the parents and the Bauer side, all of it. They become drama podcasts. And that's not what this is supposed to be. I mean, listen, I get it. It's one thing with the Ramseys. It's an old as hell case. We all know who did it. I mean, nobody really.
Obviously, we don't all know who did it because nobody has been arrested for that case. So again, ego a little bit, your assumptions. Okay.
Really doubts it. The two sides here are very lopsided. Sebastian, it doesn't feel that way. And then you get not just YouTubers, but private investigators and lawyers and all these people from different sides who get on and they start yelling at each other. And what I've noticed is the entire thing has moved away from Sebastian Rogers. It is no longer about finding Sebastian Rogers. It is about
Aiden. I highly encourage you, which you won't. I know you won't because I'm just a pest and you tried to diminish me and mock me when I last time engaged with you. So there's that. So I know you won't, but I really highly encourage you to go back to the beginning of this case. Go back to the very beginning because after Duchess's interview on March 3rd, where the parents came and asked for awareness to be brought. Seth was also invited, for your knowledge, on Duchess's panel. All 3 of the parents were invited if they wanted to come up and speak and bring awareness, and she wouldn't let the parents be attacked because that's what true awareness looks like. The very following day, creators such as Smiley, who is a part of your fellow green team, I guess you got mentioned in the green team approved list, lucky you. Yay, claps all around. Last list I would ever want to be in. I'm on the disapproved list, thank God. Anyways, the very next day, Smiley took it upon herself to call Sumner County and start recording the police department and asking if they had suspects named. That was on March 4th. She started emailing the interviews of Chris and Katie to Sumner County and the TBI because she was so heavily invested in her hatred of Duchess, not because she wanted to bring awareness or anything like that. It was because she had been covering this case from March 1st because it was local to her. She used to live in the area, has family in the area. At first, she brought some awareness to it. Okay. Then her anti-Duchess, her enemy of sorts in her own head, got an interview with the family. She was jealous as hell of Duchess and started doing fuckery. And it has continued. And tonight, we're going to look at March 8th. And you might get a little bit of an overview of how sides were already chosen and how an awareness case turned into a complete shit show because of a playbook of sorts. In order to build a sensational story, this is what happens over and over again. Insert case or missing person. Summer Wells, Quentin Simon, Marvon McCrae, not even missing persons. Any case that they can do this with, they do. Let's let them talk for a couple more minutes.
You know, my side being right. And I don't like that at all. I mean, I had somebody on Twitter yesterday, I think it was, accuse me of being a mod for Seth's channel. And my response was, I don't have time to do my own live streams, let alone moderate somebody else's, you know? Like, I don't have time. But there's just this default assumption that you're on.
Do you realize that the reason why that's being done, sometimes the creators don't even know that they're being modded up or they're asking for that? It's because it brings more optical illusion, which it's sometimes illusion. Sometimes these creators aren't even aware that they're being given wrenches. It's to bring the optics to the public that these people, whether they are or aren't, are Team Seth. That is why they are modding creators. It's to keep them in line. It's to keep their side pumping out content. It's to keep them all going for the green team. This is why people do these things. It's not that hard to figure it out.
On one side or the other, you must be biased. You must be part of Team Rogers or Team Proudfoot. There's no other alternative. Nobody considers the fact that you might sit here as a third party going, hey, I have no skin in this game. I just want the kid found. That's inconceivable to a lot of these people. I'm not perfect. You know, I've had my moments, but I don't understand what happened here. And I think it's just, once again, another weird thing where, like, non-law enforcement, amateur web sleuths, for lack of a better term, and I know the irony. I get it. I understand the irony of me saying this. A lot of these people get involved, and they are so emotionally connected to their point of view that they cannot set aside the biases. And usually it's not a big deal. You know, with the Rogers case, it's not a huge deal because nobody seems to have, for lack of a better term, classified information. Nobody's got their hands on something nobody else has. But with Jameson, with Sue Bennett, she's got it all. She's got pages of transcripts and DNA analysis and interviews, and we don't get to see it. I mean, I've said for a long time, if I have access to something that would benefit.
He doesn't even realize how he came into this. He doesn't even realize what he's talking about here at all.
benefit the public's interest, I will release it. Or at the very least, I will offer to release it. Like, I might not just put it up there, but if somebody comes to me and says, hey, can I take a look at that? I'm going to say, yeah, sure, why not?
And he's not wrong on the emotional attachment. He's not wrong on the foundation. He's just wrong in the fact that he doesn't realize that's how he came into this. And that's how he chose his coverage.
What you doing?
Just checking something.
Okay. But yeah, I feel like I'm talking to myself here.
Sorry, just confirming whether or not the Seth R. Rogers.
Oh, yeah, no, that's
actually it is.
Hey, Seth. How you doing?
How's it going?
I'm sorry this is happening to you.
I'm sorry this is happening to you. He about fell over himself the other day when Dog the Bounty Hunter's account, which I'm sure is not ran by Dog the Bounty Hunter. I can't see dogs sitting around hanging out on YouTube. But he about fell over himself. He absolutely came into this looking for one side. He's not wrong on the emotional attachment and people picking sides and people acting like they have inside information. That happened March 2nd. A Facebook group, a public or a private Facebook group was made the 27th of February. Discussion groups, Facebook discussion groups were being made into content early on.
I mean, and that was the thing, is I came into this totally unbiased.
No, you did not.
You might remember in the first video, I didn't say a damn thing about the Proudfoots.
That's a lie, because the first, oh my gosh, that's a lie. Who are you talking about? Yeah, shits and giggles. Who are you talking about? About be careful. With who? Careful nonsense. What are you telling me to be careful about? 99% about this is all about money. 100%. I don't know what you're talking about, though, or who you're trying to warn me over. Sorry, I'm not even seeing it. Oh, this guy, you guys, I'm 4 months ago, Janison County made a post, tagged him in it. We got to interact with him in the comment section. He is, if you guys are warning me about this guy is, no.
Yeah, no, because the first video that we did was basically the summarization of essentially that first 24 hours in prime focus to Sebastian.
Yep.
What happened, where he might have gone, the search effort, not really anything tangential in terms of history of the people involved or theories about what may or may not have happened or what may happen down the line.
Exactly. So, I mean, it was only once I actually started to look at what Chris Proudfoot was saying. I didn't like it. I did not like what I was seeing.
Well, that's the thing is like, and
And that's okay. You don't have to like these people. We don't have to personally like these people.
some of the things that you mentioned here about drama with the families and such like that, a lot of what we did in the subsequent videos and what you highlighted with his history, with Katie's history, at least to my understanding and the way we went to present it, was this wasn't about the drama of the family.
No.
This was important context to figure out motive of who and why.
And no. Again, this is where they think they're going to solve a case. They're trying to figure out the motive, the means, and the opportunity. That's not up to a YouTuber to decide.
Sebastian was either kidnapped or how he got lost. It's all context to help the search. It's not drama for the sake of drama.
And I mean,
So going in right off the jump into this whole Nina debacle wasn't drama. Okay, gotcha. I'm going to bump it forward, though. You guys can watch this if you would like to, but this part right here says it all to me. And I go back to what Jessica Kent said. Professionals are telling these big channels to get into true crime because that's where the money is. Professionals are telling these huge content creators to get into true crime because that's where the money is. It's absolutely what is happening. But this says it all.
Chances of finding him.
So I would say him being trafficked is more on the unlikely side. Do I think it's a possibility? Yes. Unfortunately, I see it as very unlikely that a child who has the needs he has would survive being trafficked. So I don't think so. I don't think he would be if he was trafficked. I think he's never being found if he's been trafficked. Because I just don't think he would last. Now, what are the chances that's what happened? In my opinion, pretty low. I think it's more likely that he was abducted and stashed with the family. That was what I thought was the most likely up until a couple of months ago when it became clear to me that, like, it'd be hard to hide a 15-year-old kid that long, especially one who has to go to the doctor as frequently.
And his first one was he was kidnapped. That was his first conclusion. He's been kind of all over the board here. And this is why it's unethical, in my opinion, with a channel this size to be so negligent in your view of what this is. If you were trying to bring attention to the case, you would be fact-driven only and not playing all these games. But the game he's about to tell that he played here it says it all.
Only Sebastian does. At this point, unfortunately, I think the most likely outcome is that he is no longer with us. And I still feel that Chris Proudfoot is directly responsible in some way. But hey, Chris.
I feel Chris Proudfoot, even though we have no indication from law enforcement whatsoever, this is another one of those reckless accusations.
Seth's here. Where are you? If Seth wants to come on the show, I'll have him. If you want to come on the show, I'll have you. Where are you?
Next is for $10 is saying, which case do you think was handled worse, the Ramsey case or the Rogers case?
Oh, Ramsey.
Really?
Oh my God, yes.
Tell me why.
And he does the typical comparing of cases, which we've dissected, that all of them do over and over again. They compare it to the other case for emotional impact, and especially high profile, unsolved cases that have gained public attention. They do that so people in their audiences are pulled in.
The level of...
And we have no indication that Sebastian is deceased, like, unfortunately, John Bonet.
Just deliberate misdirection in the Ramsey case and the extent to which it was entrenched within the Boulder justice system is mind-boggling. I mean, as far as I'm aware with Sebastian Rogers, we don't have the deputy district attorney delivering letters on behalf of the defendant to the state investigative agency telling them, hey, don't do that. Like, there was, with the Ramsey case, it wasn't the justice system versus the Ramseys. It was the police versus the justice system who were actively running cover for the Ramseys.
Which is just insane.
Yeah. I mean, DA Hunter coming out and saying that, you know, they weren't going to indict, despite the fact that's what the grand jury wanted to do. I mean...
And remind me again how long that information was sealed?
Like 13 years or something. I mean, Hunter, who very well knew how bad it looked for the Ramseys. Just for some reason.
I would love to see whether it's us sometime down the line or somebody else capable and interested in this case in particular, do a specific deep dive on Alex Hunter. Because we've covered some of the stuff about him, but even just the surface level elements that show his blatant attempts.
He'll get into the part that I'm most concerned about coming up.
To skirt justice in order to make his life easier is shocking.
Maybe one day. Maybe he's part of this. Oh, he gets introduced soon. He hasn't been introduced to Alex Hunter yet in our series.
Oh yeah, I guess most of the conversation we've had about him has been
you thought the way I laid into Deputy DA Hofstrom was rough? Oh boy. Oh, I'm not going to be nice to Hunter.
I think it's you then. I think
shits and giggles. Who are you talking about? What parent spends all this time, last days together, then her hubby's kid shows up? Are you talking about Katie? Is that what you're talking about? Again, you might be new here, but we don't pretend that we even know what's what. You're entitled to your opinions on what you think is optically odd, what you think is misaligned, but law enforcement will be the people to solve this case and to figure out where Sebastian is. I think it's highly likely that Sebastian could have walked out on his own. I also think he could have been lured out. I also think he could have walked out and fallen prey to something else, as far as like an accident or another person. Like, there's a lot of possibilities for me outside of the family here. So, in the whole concept of this situation, you're entitled to your opinions, but I don't think that what it's been made to based off of rumors is what I'm willing to run with. So just because Katie spent time with her son, and Faith didn't show up like right after that either. So I don't know if that's what you're going on, but that's a big distance. Her summer visit versus when Sebastian went missing, there's a big gap of time there.
I think it's you that needs to do the DA that derailed the Ramsey case.
Yeah. Maybe. I'll see. I'll see how. Maybe he deserves.
Well, they can be disrespectful to me all they want, Revival. I'll just factually correct them on what's fact versus rumor and their personal bias or their own opinions versus fact. They can be rude all they want. That's a them thing, not a me thing. I'm not sitting here trying to solve this case. I'm trying to make it very well known what creators do to build these stories, because it's going to unfortunately happen to the next family that comes to social media for awareness. And these people have the opportunity to build it into this.
Deserves it. He's an old man. I don't know if he's even still alive, but we'll see.
Patrick McNeely for $5 is saying, conspiracy time. What if all these people are being paid off to mislead the true facts of the case by doing misleading true crime podcasts?
Chris Proudfoot doesn't have that kind of money.
But we know somebody who does.
Who? What are you thinking about?
John?
Oh, no, with John? Yeah, John's
I just like it watching people make an ass out of themselves in the comment section, Revival. Don't time me out.
absolutely. I think that was more about the
Yeah.
shit.
I was taking it as both.
Yeah. But yeah, Ramsey definitely had the money. I don't think Chris Proudfoot is rich enough or intelligent enough to pull that kind of thing off.
CK. People don't want to talk about that shit. People don't want to talk about that shit. Yes, generally. Absolutely. CK. Don't be blowing my. People don't want to talk about that shit. See, he did a whole in the comment section on the post. He says, I think it was to Janice or Terry. He says, I know about nonsense or something. And I was like, oh, I'm sure you do, because I talk about extremist views that he has. He's very in line with a lot of those same extremist views. And it would probably hurt a little guy of his sort. He's about to call the parent of a missing child some things and like puff his chest here when he's a wee little guy too. Bella.
In fact, I think if he was smart, he wouldn't have talked to a single podcaster. If he's at all smart, he won't talk to me. But here's the thing. I'm not sure his ego will allow him not to.
He's avoided us though so far.
He has. We'll see.
And this is what truth showed these guys what to do to try and bait Chris into a conversation. CK. Aiden is the Turning Point USA Penn State founder. Yes. Yeah. I did a whole should we do a whole dive on that publicly? I think people would be really cracking up.
I'd be really curious to see a conversation between you and Chris. I mean, obviously us and Chris, but primarily you and Chris, in a very similar way as to how the conversation with Austin ended up going.
See, here's what's great for me about this when it comes to Chris. I have a stepfather.
Oh, Charlie.
I can't even recognize what I've heard about Chris as a stepfather, because mine was just nowhere near him. Like, my stepfather did so many good things for me in my life. I sit here and I don't understand. Like, I'm like, how as a stepfather can you behave this way? I wasn't treated that way. Nobody I know who has a step parent was treated that way. And there are people.
That's great that you had a great experience. Welcome to the world that's not sunshine and roses for everybody. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, well, they are. He is a stepdad. I'm like, yeah, my stepdad treated me like I was his flesh and blood. Like I was born to him. There has never been a moment in my entire life for the.
And this right here is where he is inserting himself in his own feelings because of his own childhood.
24 years he's been involved in it, where I felt like I was not seen as a son.
Music City. Yep.
So I just don't get it with Chris. Like, what is this behavior? Why do you talk about your stepson this way?
Music City Mom, there is an absolute, you'll see it. There's 260 of us in here. But if I was having a panel to blatantly like run with all the speculation and the rumors and everything and allow anybody up here and rub elbows with all the worst of the worst, we would have huge numbers. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in actually showing how these cases are built into the bullshit. And I'm not about to rub elbows, but this is what happens. Like, they know there's a thing here. There is an absolute mission to their madness. Cunt Kyle's doing a little bit better twist. He slept most of the day.
And then also, I have an autistic little brother.
There you go. Not selling out, right, Rusty?
I have experience with
I like it like this.
with Chris Proudfoot's kind, with this situation. I know what it's like to be in a home with an autistic child. I know what it's like to be in a home with a step parent, with two step parents.
Many of us do. Okay.
There's stuff that he can't lie about to me because I know.
Oh, you know. So your own personal issues and past leads you to know exactly what went on in their home. Okay.
So we'll see. I don't think he's got. It's an interesting conundrum for him. The smart thing to do is to not talk to me. But if he doesn't, no balls.
Says the little man that associates with Charlie Kirk. Okay. All right then.
Coward. Will talk to random true crime girlies with 15,000 subscribers because he thinks that he can control the narrative. But he's afraid of me. That's all.
First of all, dude, if you're going to try to look big or like intimidating, you need to do something else without the squeaky little voice. I know you're sick, but this whole like looking into the camera, look into my eyes type shit doesn't really quite work. It's not landing where you want it to be. Stick to Bigfoot. I think you're very, very good at your lore with your conspiracy theory shit. But active missing children's cases where you're trying to find a fucking kid, your words, not mine, Janison County's post, I reshared it on my community wall if you want to see it, is out of your wheelhouse. Leave it to the big boys who actually got through the police academy. You might have graduated Penn State. You might be very smart, but you're looking like a stupid fool you are that has potentially little man syndrome yourself, sitting here looking into the camera to try and bait the parent of a missing child who law enforcement hasn't stated that there's evidence of any sort of their guilt. There's that. It's not landing. A soft landing.
All I can gather from this, he's got to know we exist, right?
Considering the history of this case and who he's talked to and how many people he's talked to, I'd be shocked if he didn't.
I mean, also the people who he does talk to are now talking about me. So, are you scared? Are you a real baby boy? You scared? Scared, Chris? Do you need a blanket?
I mean, that says 27. That says 27 right there. Now, if you're trying to set yourself apart from the drama creators, right, that you're talking about, you have a problem with the drama creators, those of us that push back on the BS, bullshit, unethical creators like yourself. If this is trying to land, like if you want to be full on drama with us, buckle up, put your fucking waders on in your helmet because I'll fucking run you around. Absolutely. We can do this all day long if you want, but you're trying to sit here and say that, oh my gosh, this is how the drama. I don't do the drama. You're doing the drama, dude. You're doing the drama. This is all this is the fucking drama. I might even let Antonio have a go at you. He likes Steve, but he also really, really does not like Charlie Kirk, your buddy. So, I mean, that might be fun. It tracks to Pennsylvania, Dr. Oz, all the ties to Pennsylvania, many people in Pennsylvania that are kind of corrupt and political, alignments. Think about the extremist nature with some of the connections here, people. Nothing's very far off on why this guy is interested in this case.
I don't think I've ever wanted somebody to come on the show more.
Oh, I would love it. It would be chum and sharks, dude. He won't do it. He doesn't need that big truck for work. He needs it to feel good about himself because something else is real small. I'm telling you. You know why you're on wife number 5? I think it
Says the man that opened his show the other day talking about pew-pews and attachments for pew-pews. Same could be said about that. I mean, the fuck is even happening?
might be
That pause I had though was great.
because you couldn't perform enough. I think that might be it. That's why you got the truck. I mean, if I bought a truck for work, like I'm buying a Jeep Gladiator, right? I know that it needs to be above a certain weight. I know what is different between the years. I know that some of them have a certain engine type that I might want. It's because I want a truck. You know the kind of guy who has a truck but doesn't know what year it is, even though it was bought in the last 4? A guy who wants a truck because something else is small.
I was going to say, coming from somebody who owns a truck and knows way too many details about their truck.
Aiden, not good hair, dude. Aiden, other one.
I can't imagine not even knowing the year.
Uh-oh. No, you go back. Kyle.
Like he knows anything. Talk about compensating for little things, you little fucking dork.
You're going to be out of breath and start coughing. Kyle ran up the stairs.
Fucking jackass.
Kyle ran up the stairs and is now out of breath and coughing his. There he is. There he is.
Incel fuck, shut up.
He says, incel fuck, shut up. Kyle's about to pass out to run up here to say something. I know, bed now. Exactly. He's like, no.
Here. And I mean, you're a physically small person and you bought the truck because you wanted a truck.
Yeah.
This man has no need to compensate. Even though he is bite-sized. He is great in spirit. But not you, Chris. You're small in both manhood and manhood.
This is so embarrassing. No, shits and giggles, abso-fucking-lutely not. Nina's irrelevant. Sorry, Nina's irrelevant. Nina is irrelevant. Nina is an ex of Chris's, who they have a child together, but Nina lives in a completely different state. Nina used this as an opportunity to come on, whether she shared truthful stories or not, but some of them are very questionable, such as they tried to run her over in a police station parking lot because that would have been a lawsuit. There would have also been video camera footage of the supposed police interaction of them sticking her in a dark room with the lights off to try and intimidate her, not allowing her to come in the police department. She would have had a huge lawsuit against the police station if any of that would have happened. Nina is irrelevant in this situation. The only thing Nina did was make herself relevant to content creators to push a narrative, such as Terry Lynn on the 27th of February coming on publicly and stating that Chris had an active RO on him, which was factually incorrect. Nina is irrelevant to what we are talking about here. And if she does play any hand in any of it, law enforcement will get to the bottom of that. Not me. But for me, Nina is irrelevant. You can believe her story. You can believe that she's a victim. That's your choice if you want to believe that. But for me, Nina is irrelevant. Nina was an opportunist who has had a horrible custody battle, who has a horrible experience with Chris. That's why they're exes, who have shared custody, that have been in a nasty custody battle for years on end, who took an opportunity to make her voice heard and make this about herself. She was one of the very first distractions that took the focus off of Sebastian being a missing child and put it on herself. She can be a victim, but she is ultimately an opportunist, because her taking the spotlight off of Sebastian so she could be heard will never be something that goes unnoticed over here. She took the opportunity to take awareness and focus off of a missing child to highlight her issues with Chris Proudfoot. Nina is irrelevant. And I'm sorry, anybody that thinks it's funny and laughs about, you lost a whole fucking kid and ruined our family vacation, they will stay irrelevant over here. Her experience with Chris, ultimately, until proven otherwise by law enforcement, has nothing to do. And I will not give her any attention. That's that. And before you say, I don't believe victims, I absolutely do. Nina's story could be true, but Chris's story could also be true. And it's not relevant. But tell me who you are without telling me who you are when you take the opportunity to take focus off a missing child and make it about you. That says more to me than anything.
Allegedly.
That truck's never seen a speck of mud.
See, this is the problem is, this might be the only way that we can piss him off enough to come on the show.
Everybody keeps saying, talk about his truck. I mean,
I'm talking about his truck, all right.
brother, I have a 1989 F350. I know way.
I mean, how fucking cringe is this? How cringe is this? This is what these people have now decided to do. This is now what they think they're going to do. This is the parent of a missing child who law enforcement has not deemed guilty of anything. They think that goading him by mocking him, talking about his manhood, man parts, is baiting him into coming on to have a conversation with them. They don't want to help bring awareness to a missing child. They're not interested in bringing awareness to Sebastian. Because at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, whether we personally like these people or not, these people are all a part of Sebastian's life. So you're not trying to help find a fucking kid, Aiden. You're trying to make a mockery out of the parents of the child that is missing for clicks and views on your show because it makes you money. Don't get it twisted. We see it for what it is. Because if you cared about the missing child, you would want and be inviting them on to bring awareness to their missing child. You wouldn't be trying to bait him because you don't like this man and have hatred for him, which is so displaced and weird. This is the problem. So now that you've seen that, let's go back. Everybody ready? Got your snacks? Laura Lodge, watch how it's done if you really want to find the facts. And yeah, my little 10,000 measly ass channel over here, because I'm not willing to sell myself out for numbers and speculate and let everybody run rampant with fucking crazy speculation over parents of a missing child, will probably remain this little tiny speck that's going to be the thorn in a lot of your asses for years to come until we get laws to change to protect these victims and their families. Because people like you were already creating havoc and painting narratives one direction to the other, not because they wanted to bring awareness to Sebastian, but it's because how they get their clicks and views. They can't stick to the facts. The facts aren't entertaining. So in order to have a show, let's go back to March 8th. If you haven't seen our coverage so far in this timeline of things, we are on part 4. This is its entire own playlist. I will timestamp this so those coming in can check from this point on. But today we ended off on part 3 with March 7th. By this point in time, we have gone through right before Sebastian went missing, the day Sebastian went missing, the media interviews, their social media interviews when they first came, how that changed. March 3rd, March 4th, March 5th, the 7th, we have Smiley, Clue, Terry Lynn, who yanked down her videos because we were reviewing them. We have a Facebook group. We have a GoFundMe. We have all sorts of shit in the first 3 parts. And it is mind-blowing. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So let's carry on with our March 8th. We are going to start with WKRN News 2 on March 8th.
15-year-old in Sumner County has been missing now since.
Let me back that up.
Sebastian Rogers, a 15-year-old in Sumner County, has been missing now since February 26th. The massive search for him is taking a turn as a Kentucky landfill is now being investigated. Peyton Kennedy is live from TBI head.
Trust and believe. 3 Sides True Crime. I am so pleased because that 10,000, majority of those 10,000 are here because they understand the bigger problem. Not all of them. Some of them are just here for me cussing a bitch out and acting a fool, or, me randomly doing stupid shit, cooking, they're all here for a different reason. But majority of those people are here because they see the bigger picture. They see that laws need to change. They see that victims need protected and their stories need to be told from the victim standpoint. And they see that creators are becoming the Jerry Springer, Geraldo Rivera. Like, they're here for a purpose. Again, isolated by choice, together on a mission, or whatever slogan we want to have. Revival says, don't get it twisted. I'm just here to argue with people and block them. I have control, bitches.
Headquarters with an update on the search and the national interest in this case.
And Nikki, according to the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, that landfill, which is in White Plains, Kentucky, is where the trash from Sebastian's neighborhood in the beach area of Hendersonville went on the day that he went missing. Now, the TBI says no specific information or leads took them to that landfill besides what I just mentioned, but this is more of a precautionary measure. The sheriff's office says this is happening to eliminate possible options and questions. But unfortunately, there are still more questions than answers since Sebastian was reported missing almost 2 weeks ago now. I spoke with a podcaster who focuses on sharing the details of missing persons cases in the South.
Anybody think who's coming up? Anybody know who's coming up on this little segment here? Does anybody remember?
For some perspective on how these cases ripple through communities.
I'm going to wait and see if you guys remember who it is. Take a guess of who the podcaster is that's coming up. Could be any asshole. Dutchie, it is Duchess. Yep.
And beyond. Here's what she has learned from her experiences.
I think it's just really important to keep an open mind when you're tuned in to social media and these Facebook groups, watching YouTube creators. I think sticking to the facts about what law enforcement has released, what we know to be factual information, is very important, and encouraging people to continue to share out the.
You guys are fine. Duchess doesn't care. She don't care. But yeah, it was Duchess. A lot of people didn't even know she made it to the news.
Flyers and the factual information, and asking people, hey, if you see something, say something.
And what she said is so important. I'm going to replay that part because what she said is so important. But this isn't what's being done. Again, March 8th.
And when you're tuned in to social media and these Facebook groups, watching YouTube creators, I think sticking to the facts about what law enforcement has released, what we know to be factual information, is very important, and encouraging people to continue to share out the flyers and the factual information, and asking people, hey, if you see something, say something.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 new billboards up with Sebastian's information. They're up in the Nashville area, one by the Rivergate Mall, another along I-65 headed to Nashville from Hendersonville. Now, both of these average a total of about 330 views per day, and they are sponsored by people who want to bring Sebastian home.
I think she meant 330,000 views.
Live in Nashville, Peyton Kennedy.
So again, March 8th. Let's carry on. What else do we have on March 8th? You guys are going to be blown away on March 8th. So another thing, I'm going to do all the media interviews first, just so you guys are aware of where we're going. It'll probably give us an ad.
Have a question, but not sure where to get answers? Try.
A lot of these have ads, so hold on. Every time I say, oh, wait, is it going to let me do it? Is it actually going to let me bump it?
Home.
Officials say
Weeks since Sebastian Rogers went missing from his Hendersonville home.
Officials say they have not found any new evidence after searching a landfill for hours yesterday. WSMV's Brendan Tierney has been digging for answers about where the investigation of Brendan goes from here.
Tracy and Marius, the Sumner County Sheriff says he still considers this to be a search and rescue effort, but the longer this goes without a solid lead, he's concerned that it will become a recovery operation. Detectives searching a Kentucky landfill say they did not find any evidence connected to the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. The 15-year-old with autism was reported missing 12 days ago from his Hendersonville home. Sheriff Sonny Weatherford says there was no specific tip that led them to this Hopkins County dump. They just wanted to make sure they didn't miss any evidence. J.E. McMurtry Disposal handles trash for the Stafford Court neighborhood. The company says trucks were picking up between 5 and 6 a.m. Monday, between when Sebastian was last seen and reported missing. The garbage was taken to a transfer station, then by another company to the landfill. Sumner deputies worked with Kentucky State Police, Metro Police, and other specially trained agencies using dogs to search through the area. Trash was dumped last Monday. They did not find any new leads or information.
One thing interesting that I heard in that was that dogs were used even at the landfills. Most of us knew that before, but I thought it was interesting once again because there's been so much talk about the dogs, and there's been people rumoring around that cadaver dogs were not allowed. T-Rev had somebody on that said nobody would let cadaver dogs go through the home and so on and so forth. But dogs were being used all over, even at the landfill.
And the sheriff says they are continuing to follow up on all tips that come in, including a couple of them today that did lead once again to dead ends. They are asking anyone with information to please contact the TBI.
All
Tracy.
right, Brendan Tierney, thank you.
Another thing I want you guys to pay attention to, please and thank you, is if you hear anybody in these articles say that this is now a criminal investigation. Here's another one from the same site. It's almost very similar, but another from the March 8th. So I just wanted to show as many as I could so we all see the same things. Another from WSMV4 on March 8th.
Phil search in Kentucky connected to the missing Sumner County teen is over. Investigators say they did not find anything related to the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers, that 15-year-old with autism, went missing about 2 weeks ago. Our Brendan Tierney is live in the studio with our continuing coverage on this search.
And this is the article. Hold on, I'm going to show you the difference between these. Hold on. Whoops, let me go back out here just a second. So these are two different articles. You'll see this is the one we just listened to, but they put these with them. No evidence related to missing teen found at Kentucky landfill. So what I'm assuming these are is like the 5 p.m. versus the 10 p.m. news segments. Does that make sense? Like when they do one in the day and then they use the same footage or the same things. They're the same thing, but I just wanted you guys to see they're very similar, almost identical with what's said in them, but I think they're just two segments of the news titled differently from the same day. So I'm just trying to make sure that we cover all bases and there's not something we miss because, you know, people like to be like, but you skipped over.
And we know you just got off the phone with the sheriff, Brendan. What did he or she have to say?
Tracy, yeah, the sheriff told me that at this point, he is still considering it to be a recovery, search and rescue operation. He's concerned, though, that it might become a recovery effort as they are going further and further into it. After yesterday, they didn't find anything up at the landfill. He says that the trash company gets collected in Sebastian's neighborhood on Monday mornings. It was during that time period between when he was last seen and Sebastian was reported missing. So they went up there wanting to make sure they didn't miss anything from that time period. They didn't receive any specific tips about the landfill. And that's why after searching in the area, the trash from Monday was found. They were not able to come away with any additional evidence. At this point, they were reviewing stuff from earlier in the investigation to make sure they didn't possibly miss anything, and they are trying to come up with more possible leads. The sheriff told me that they had a spotting over in East Tennessee earlier today. They sent a deputy all the way out there, ended up not being Sebastian, but they're still holding out hope that they're able to find him and are going to continue working through the.
Okay. So there's that one. Now we're going to this one. This is from, this is News Nation. Again, March 8th. We're just showing all of the news articles because I'm looking for something specific.
Rogers, a 15-year-old in Sumner County, has been missing now since February 26th. The massive search for him is taking a turn as a Kentucky landfill is now being investigated. Peyton Kennedy is live from TBI headquarters with an update on the search and the national interest in this case.
And Nikki, according to the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, that landfill, which is in White Plains, Kentucky, is where the trash from Sebastian's neighborhood in the beach area of Hendersonville went on the day that he went missing. Now, the TBI says no specific information or leads took them to that landfill besides what I just mentioned, but this is more of a precautionary measure. The sheriff's office says this is happening to eliminate possible options and questions. But unfortunately, there are still more questions than answers since Sebastian was reported missing almost 2 weeks ago now. I spoke with a podcaster who focuses on sharing the details of missing persons cases in the South.
So it's all you hear March 8th. Okay. I know it's redundancy. There's a reason I'm doing this. You guys will understand in a minute. It's redundancy, mostly the same stuff, different news articles that are released through the same channels and sources and all of that stuff. You'll see why I'm doing that in a minute.
For some perspective on how these cases ripple through communities and beyond, here's what she has learned from her experiences.
This is Duchess again.
I think it's just really important to keep an open mind when you're tuned in to social media and these Facebook groups, watching YouTube creators. I think sticking to the facts about what law enforcement has released, what we know to be factual information, is very important, and encouraging people to continue to share out the flyers and the factual information, and asking people, hey, if you see something, say something.
So you'll see News Nation, like this is from News Nation. Let me show you guys that again. This is News Nation right here. Used the local, which is typical. I'm showing this. Now I'm going to show you this. This is ABC. WJLH. Okay, here we go. We've seen that one. It's annoying to do this, but I'm trying to do my best.
Sumner County Sheriff says the landfill search in the Sebastian Rogers case turned up nothing. Sebastian has been missing for 11 days now. The 15-year-old has autism, and investigators say he does not have his medication with him. News 2's Adam Mincer looks at what has law enforcement learned, and after searching the highs and lows all across state lines.
15-year-old Sebastian Rogers must be somewhere.
So we're doing everything we can. Every lead that we get, we're following.
Now, after a week and a half, Sumner Sheriff Sonny Weatherford put out a statement saying, while we had hoped for a different outcome, our commitment to finding Sebastian remains unwavering. The sheriff's office began the search on Monday, February 26th.
I couldn't recall off the top of my head when the last search like this was.
Starting with a 2, then 5-mile radius search in the Shackle Island area. Law enforcement then expanded the radius exponentially. According to Sumner County officials, crews searched more than 2,000 miles on foot, went through Sebastian's home about 10 times, and deployed drones, helicopters, horses, search dogs, and dive teams.
We absolutely obliterated covering the area where Sebastian could have walked off to.
Chief Deputy Craddock repeating to reporters,
we're operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off. We have no evidence to disprove that. The family's been nothing but cooperative with law enforcement and our investigation.
TBI released a statement on the family's behalf, responding to...
Wait a second. Did you hear them say it was a criminal investigation? Did I miss that? Did anybody hear that? I haven't heard that yet. Has anybody heard them say it? Any of these news sources, any of these articles say that it's a criminal investigation? Anybody heard that yet? I'm sure we just missed it, right? Because Smiley's going to tell us it's a criminal investigation on March 8th.
Comment online wondering why the family hasn't said much publicly. We have been requested by the family to let local media know that they are not in a position to speak to or be available to the media at this time. After that statement, the parents spoke, telling a podcast host Sebastian doesn't have his phone with him, hasn't been talking to anyone online, and doesn't have social media.
A little later in the evening, I myself went to bed, and when I went to wake him up for school, he wasn't here.
And you did tell me that Sebastian is not a runner.
He's not.
Then on day 8 of the search, Sumner County said it was time to scale back.
Let me be clear that this does not diminish our commitment to finding Sebastian.
Suddenly, the case moved north to a landfill in Hopkins County, Kentucky. The Sumner sheriff says that's where the trash for Sebastian's neighborhood ends up. And the person who picked up the trash the morning Sebastian went missing told them where he dropped off that load. While they said the search was precautionary, nothing came from it. Another dead end and a search entering its second week. In Nashville, Adam Mintzer, News 2.
We did ask the sheriff's office for updates on the case, specifically for the 911 calls or calls to the Sumner County area the day Sebastian disappeared, how many tips they have received, and whether they have any active leads in this case. And so far, we've yet to hear back.
Step into Mahoney's.
All right. Hold on. Okay, and just because I'm being annoying and covering all my bases, I'm even going here. Even though this isn't a credible source, in my opinion, I'm still going here. This is from the Mirror USA. As the desperate search for Sebastian Rogers near the end of the second week, here's everything to know about the case. It's been almost 2 full weeks since 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers went missing from his Tennessee home. The desperate search has so far yielded no search results as hope dwindles. The search for missing 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers recently entered its second week, and the authorities seem no closer to locating the teen than they were exactly 1 week and 4 days ago when he went missing. Rogers, who is on the autism spectrum, disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee on February 26, and since then, there have been no sign of the missing teen as drones, dogs, horses, boats, and even helicopters scour the area alongside residents in the search of the boy. This week, the search reportedly took investigators to the Kentucky landfill, to Kentucky to search a landfill, the same one where the trash from Rogers' home is taken, in the hopes that they might find him or his body at the site, local station WKRN2 reported. But what exactly led investigators to the site and what they've tried so far in the desperate hunt for young Rogers? Here's everything to know about the search as hope wanes in the second week. That is shocking to me that this article continues to say that hope wanes. Lots of places to hide. Hendersonville, Tennessee, where Rogers lives, is a small city about 17 miles northeast of Nashville. It's littered with creeks, streams, and it's nestled along the Cumberland River. Residents were told to look out for Rogers in any of the bodies of water, many of which are on residential properties, in case he fell in one or decided to take a swim. Sorry, I gotta hit the continued reading section. I hate these sites with, look at the pop-ups on this. Look at the pop-ups on these other sites. There are also some bridges in the area that he could potentially get lost under, and the city itself isn't too far from lots of wooded areas in Tennessee and nearby Kentucky where it is believed Rogers may have ventured. One report said he may have gone as far as Clarksville, a city about 54 miles northwest of Hendersonville. And that region has caves. The landfill the authorities searched on Thursday is located in White Plains, Kentucky, about 100 miles northwest of Hendersonville. The search radius has been massive, as crews have said to have searched over 1,000 square miles. To search for the missing teen, given the number of places he could be, or the fact that it's unknown how far he traveled, the authorities brought in everything at their disposal, from dogs and horses by which to search for Rogers on foot to drones and helicopters by which to search larger swaths of land from above. Boat teams were also deployed to search the aforementioned bodies of water, but so far the search hasn't yielded anything. There hasn't been a single sighting of Rogers since he went missing. Ken Widener, the director of the Sumner County Emergency Management Agency, told local news station WKRN that a group came from eastern portion of the state to search the region's caves, dubbing them all mountainous experts. He said, so any cave that we've marked, we've had them in those caves. Members of the Tennessee National Guard were also mobilized and were seen knocking on doors in the area to search for the boy and also raise awareness for the disappearance in hopes that more individuals will come forward with new information if they see anything. One thing about Tennessee and the Southeast is that we're always going to have people that want to help, and we've gotten calls from people across the state for people who want to come in and help us, Widener said. The thing we got to do is be able to manage that. So we track everybody that's on the ground. It's great to be able to call in specialized groups that do the things we can't do. It's really good. According to the teen's family, Roger's favorite song is Eye of the Tiger, an 80s song by Survivor. So in hopes of luring him out of wherever they felt he might be hiding, the authorities blasted the song from vehicles they deployed in the search. And here's more footage. They hoped that hearing his favorite tune might cause him to come out. Sumner County Sheriff's Deputy Eric Craddock said that they hoped it would kind of call him and let him know we're here to help. But the song also yielded no empty results. The authorities are desperately searching for more information, including CCTV security footage from either February 25th or 26th that might have captured the boy who was last seen wearing a black jumper. That is weird to me. Black pants and glasses. He is 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighs 120 pounds, and has dirty blonde hair. An Amber Alert was as issued for the boy by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, which began as an endangered child alert for Rogers the morning he went missing. It indicated that there was reasonable belief by law enforcement that an abduction has occurred and the child is in imminent danger of serious bodily injury or death, according to the Department of Justice. Again, they're reading the protocol and putting it in there that they put it. That was not listed or said. We've heard. Anyone with more information about the boy or his whereabouts is being asked to contact the Sumner County Sheriff's Office by calling 615-451-3838 or the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. A minimum reward of £3,500, about $4,500, has been offered as a reward for any information provided that helps the police locate the boy, which we know is not correct. The amount was pooled together by local business owners who wish to remain anonymous. Again, not correct. Roger's family has decided not to speak about the incident or share more details, either via press conferences, interviews, or social media. The family is, however, said to be cooperating with authorities as much as possible as they desperately try to get Rogers back. Okay? That's that from the Mirror. Again, not a site that I think is credible, but just covering all of our bases here. Let me make sure I got every one of them on that. And before we go into content creators. Okay. All right, here we go. So the morning of the 8th, let me show you guys this. Who do we have here? We have Smiley. So we have all seen how Smiley has covered this far. Let's carry on and see what she's about to do in this one.
Good morning.
Again, for anybody that's just coming in, we did a recap of some of the fuckery that's going on online currently with Laura Lodge and all the bullshit. And he's no different than any of the other creators to me. He's just got a way bigger platform, which is extremely unethical the way he is reporting on this case. But he is one of many that is using a sort of playbook. They build content off of discussion groups, turn it into the messes that they become for clicks and views and continuing on the fuckery. Smiley has been a big foundation in this case, turning into a shit show. And you are about to see that again on March 8th as we go back and look at the date by date of how creators inserted themselves. Any guesses of who else started covering this on March 8th?
Everybody. Hello, Who H. Davis. Good morning. Doohickey. Good morning. Good to see you. Bailey, Angela, Reese Cup 61. Hey, Jack of all trades. Hello, hippie grandma, Angela.
We're going to speed her up just to save us all some headache because we do have quite a few and it's already 8 o'clock my time.
Bob, good
Grab your snacks, please, because we might be here a while. And if you fall asleep on me, I don't blame you.
morning.
Thank you for joining us.
November Rain. Hello.
And by the way, her brows are a little bit more in line this time. There's one that's a little further, like they're a little bit more distant cousins, like 7 times removed, not 14 times. But now she's just given up and the roller coaster is fully in effect.
Oh, hello. Good morning, everybody. And everybody coming in and everybody in the bushes. Hello, Gloria. Good morning. Still missing. I come across something. Y'all might have already seen it. We'll get to it in just a minute. Give people more time to come in here. Hey, Sugar Plum 69. Yeah, prayers. Prayers up. Prayers. Is there still hope? Is there still hope?
Mind of Monsters, it's so good to see you. By the way, you guys, please go check out Mind of Monsters channel, Arctic Fox, Duchess, all the beautiful people that do bring awareness to these cases, because truly there is such a difference in how awareness is brought to these cases versus how creators insert themselves and build stories. And Might of Monsters does an amazing job also with spreading factual awareness for missing people. So please go check out her channel.
Well,
And if one of the mods would drop her link, or I can navigate myself to do it too.
there's always hope. There's always hope, I guess. Always hope. I'd like to think there's always hope. Hey, just me, you gay. Welcome. Welcome. Good morning or good evening, wherever you're at. There's still hope out there somewhere. Sebastian Rogers. I'm so tired, y'all. Can't even keep up with the name. Sebastian Rogers from Hendersonville, Tennessee, is 15.
I'll give you guys a heads up of who's to come today or tonight. So we're going to do Smiley, Peter Hyatt. How many of you knew Peter Hyatt started covering this on March 8th? Ickmel, Mo & Co., The Lab. Peter Hyatt started covering this on March 8th. That was a big one to a lot of people and created a lot of division, in my opinion.
Years old, and he is still missing. Hey, Ginger Snap. It's not looking good. It's good morning. Okay, I didn't know where you was at. I wasn't sure. The day's not. Hey, they're all the same to me. They're running together. Yeah, so sad. Throwaway society, but that doesn't mean kids. That's right. Well, just wait till y'all hear what I got. Y'all probably already heard, but it's not. But I was like, this couldn't be recent, but evidently it was yesterday. I'll get there in a minute. Just let me tell my little story. I'll get there in a minute. Oh, these parents. I don't want to accuse nobody allegedly, but I think law enforcement, when they hear this, if they hear it, they'll hear it. They'll hear it. I think they'll be very interested in this part that I'm going to tell y'all today. Anyway, but it's not looking good, y'all. As we know, this has turned into a criminal investigation right after the mom and stepdad had an infamous, after they went public.
She's about to say infamous. It's infamous. But she's once again attempting to throw shade at Duchess because she's still salty on March 8th over Duchess having the interview. And March 4th, she started really directing what she was doing in this case. But have you heard yet, those of you that have watched this series with me, have you heard law enforcement? And we've gone through all the media interviews that I can find. Have you heard any of the media interviews say that this is a criminal investigation? Anybody? Because so far we have, in my opinion, unless I'm missing something, we have not heard law enforcement or even the media at this point in time claim that this is a criminal investigation. People thought it was the news that started that narrative. No, it was Smiley. It was Smiley that said that.
Interview. And they have been messing up, in my opinion, only ever since. Mess up, mess up, mess up. Which is good. Don't get me wrong. And then they cold turkey stopped. They backed out of an interview with Nick Barris yesterday or the day before. But no fear. They were back. Woo. They ain't good as Don Will, so they need to stay off. Well, I don't care. Just let them keep talking. Anyway. They had to have the law enforcement had to have a good reason to get a search warrant because the judge signed off on a search warrant. And they are searching the landfill up in Kentucky, which is the total opposite way, which, like I told y'all yesterday, after I thought about it, yeah, you might think you're going this way, 3 hours to Memphis. Oh, that's going to be checked out. I'm going to be good. I'm just thinking. It's only speculation. Smiley's only speculating. But then, why would they look this way? An hour and a half away. Might not have been an hour and a half for him. Boy, he has lots of traffic tickets, let me tell you. But anyway, that's not the point. That's just me. We ain't hurt nobody's feelings because they said, on this last interview, we don't watch the media. So I ain't hurt nobody's feelings. I'm just being Smiley here. Truth is the truth is the truth is the truth is the truth, right? Okay. Well, in my head. So that's all that matters. Good morning, Bailey. September Virgo. Everybody coming in. Angela. Oh, it's okay to rant. We all friends over here. Anyway, they had to have a good reason, right? And then yesterday, as we know, they also went back out and took pictures for whatever reason, hey Patty, of their backyard again. Now they've been out there 10 times, but searching the landfill, and then they go back out and take pictures for whatever reason in the mom and stepdad's backyard again. Tell me that ain't suspicious, but okay. Okay. But they're keeping it close to their vest, okay? They are keeping it close to their vest. But I can tell you this don't look good, in my opinion. Hey, Texas lady, good morning. There had to be a reason, and the judges just don't scribble and color for fun. The news station, I believe it was Channel 2. I might be mistaken about that. I believe it was Channel 2. They said they went out at the landfill, and I posted this on my community post, a little section of it, and it said that they were not allowed in the gates. And they said that was highly unusual. So that didn't look good. There was like one of the red, it was like an EMS, but I forget what they're called, the red ones. It doesn't matter. You know, they were in there. That wasn't good. And then they had put up this huge tent. But more than that, a cadaver dog has hit on something. So supposedly, I don't know if they stayed all night or not. The word was after it got dark, they were going to continue their search.
Hello, Smiley in chat. Did anybody hear that a cadaver dog had hit on anything at the landfill in all of those segments that we watched? Anybody hear that information? Because we watched everything up until the 8th. Has anybody heard that a cadaver dog hit? You heard over and over again. Now you see the reason for me playing all of those and reading even the terrible one. Yeah. Thor, somebody else. SF says a whole lot. I noticed that the other day. He says a ton, and I was like, oh no.
Today, I think, in my opinion, a lot of stuff will be happening or popping off today. That's me, in my opinion, only. Now, they also said, when they said that they will continue today, they still want to keep hope, but there's something up. Now, the stepdad claims he was the one that called and reported from work 3 hours away, and not the mom. The mom called him. To me, that was a little bit strange. Yeah, cadaver dog hit doohickey. Well, they're saying at the landfill, so I don't know if that was at the trash can or not. They said at the landfill is what the news is reporting. Now, this is the part I want y'all to hear.
Wrong, and wrong.
You may or may not have heard it yet, but we're going to go over this. I found some stuff very interesting, and I think the detectives are going to as well, because they don't have time to run around and listen to everything unless they're put on notice. Caitlin Miller, Fox 17, sat down with the stepdad and the mom. They kept saying day 11, and I'm like, they're back out of interviews and they shut down. And I kept thinking, when was this? Because see, now they went on that interview, the first one. They didn't show their face, okay, and then you heard their voice. Then they went on a short news interview. They showed their body. I don't think any of this was working out for them too good.
3 sides I do. I need one of those. But we'd be hitting it nonstop. But now you guys are seeing, once again, I mean, most of you have been seeing this all along, but take this back to March 8th. This is before a lot of these big content creators were even touching this story. The chaotic mess that it became, most of those creators weren't even touching this. They weren't even blinking an eye at this. They weren't even doing shit. And here she is building a complete false story off of misinformation and running with it.
Well, in this one, they were just showing their hands. That's all they were showing was their hands, holding each other's hands. But my understanding is that they refused to show their face. So why is that? They don't want nobody to see because they're pretty calm. Oh, y'all gonna hear it yourself. I'm gonna let you if you haven't already. But some things have changed. I'm gonna see if y'all caught it. But I found out this was actually yesterday after even the parents knew that they were searching the landfill. How do I know that? Because the news lady said, how do y'all feel about them checking the landfill? I'm like, oh crap, this was yesterday. This was a few hours ago. Now, when do they want to show their face? They don't want people to be looking at them. Mom was a lot more calmer, though, in my opinion. A lot more. Did you watch it, Bailey?
I mean, okay, Pika, I lied. I know you caught this already, too, because Pika is Pika and me have brainwave lengths about the same time about brows. But Pika, check the one brow. The one's a little bit slighter curve and the other one's way further. Yeah, she is definitely a victim of the overplucking generation. And she must really have a hard time seeing in the mirror to put them on evenly. She needs one of those like measuring tapes. So up both sides of the nose, she gets them. Sorry, I'm really distracted by the brows right now because I was trying to give her credit. But the brows go further and further apart, just like her stories.
So let me just get this a little bit out. They said, again, the mom said, he's not a runner. Again, and all the things, he's not a runner. And it happens, the stepdad was asked, what was your initial reaction when you found out he was missing? And he said,
not that carrot.
Something just a little different this time.
Not that carrot. I was just here for the brows. I mean, the one looks like it's running away, if we're being honest. Like, I mean, look at that. Look at that pause right there. Oh man. It just shifted. Okay. It just shifted. Maybe it's had a long day and it's just kind of running away. Like it just shifted. Okay. Sorry. I'm struggling over here to keep focused.
He said, oh, here we go again. He's just goofing off again. Huh? Look here. Look there. That's what he told her. Good morning, everybody coming in. So yeah, that was a red flag to me, in my opinion. That was just one of many in this. One. That was just one. So as I sit there listening, I'm like, So again, the mom says, all shoes again was accounted for. We don't went over that. I don't have to bore y'all with that one. But mom did say again, the doors were locked. The doors were locked. Yet we have a missing child. Okay. That was a huge red flag. Now, this is the kicker, and I'm going to allow y'all to hear it. I am pissed, as I hope the cops will be.
She is pissed, and she is going to allow you to hear a news interview. Buckle up. This is insider information that was broadcast on the news station, but she's going to allow you to hear it. And she is pissed. I mean, okay, so are your brows.
And I'm sure that it's going to raise a red flag. And if it don't raise a red flag with y'all, then something is wrong. And if that news lady didn't turn us in, don't worry, it got turned in.
Right.
But, honey, this is a whoop. The mom now said, and this ain't all, so pay attention to my whole thing. The mom now says he was wearing black sweatpants with white stripes down the side. What? That is not what the public was told in the beginning, and that is not what we heard. I had to stop this 5 or 6 times.
I'm pretty sure everybody knew that they were like Adidas style sweats with the stripes down. I mean, I don't know how she got confused on this.
We were told he was all in black. He had on a black hoodie and black sweatpants. And he goes to bed with that on because some of us was thinking.
No, black long sleeve. Again, the Amber Alert says what he was wearing.
Well, who goes to sleep in a hoodie? But okay, we gave him that. He's a kid, right? Now, he had on these black sweatpants, they say now, with white stripes down them. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, if anybody is where the fire is, please be safe. That stuff is crazy. I've been trying to keep tabs on that all day.
So I stop it. I'm jotting this stuff down and I'm like, okay, hello, lady. If you would have told everybody this in the beginning, everybody could have been looking, the National Guards and everybody could have been looking for a boy with white stripes down his black pants. And maybe National Guards and everybody, if he really walked away, could have found him easier. Helicopters could have spotted it. Anyway, that's beside the point. Wait, just wait for it. Just wait for it. With all that being said,
she's so pissed, remember.
With all that being said,
okay, and
now the mom is suspicious to me as well. I'm just saying that's in my opinion only, and I can say that. But now, guess what? I turn it back on, and oh my God, my head's about to explode because y'all know me. I can't hold it. I try.
I think that's probably just a normal. I think that's your baseline where your head's about to explode. But okay, carry on.
But now mom says, oh, and he had on a long sleeve black t-shirt. I stop again. I'm like, wait, no hoodie? Okay. So he has on, now everything's changing, but now it's a t-shirt. Maybe she just got that mixed. Okay. But as soon as I click that button, it says, and the black t-shirt has some kind of design on the front. I said, what?
Oh, God.
Are you serious right now?
Oh.
So I stopped. I rewinded. I backed it all up. No, everything's just as I said. Y'all are going to hear it for yourself. Now they're saying he has black sweatpants on with a white stripe down it with a black t-shirt with some kind of design on it. So I clicked it on again, and she starts to tell, I'm pretty sure with a print, I'm saying this before I play it because I want y'all to understand and hear it. She said, with a print, and that's on the front of the shirt was the one of those. And then the stepfather steps in and says, takes over and says, like Star Wars or Halloween. Oh God, then I stopped it again. I'm like, are you serious right now?
Because he has a bunch of shirts that are similar with designs on, and they weren't sure exactly which one he was potentially wearing, but giving some indication of ones that he liked to wear or similar. I mean, we've all heard this, but this again is March 8th. Look at how the dramatics here of all of this.
Are you serious? So then I clicked it again, and they said either Minecraft, because they both say at the same time or something like that, that he likes those three things. So I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God. I was about to just scream. I was like, so now he has all this stuff on the front of his shirt. It's not a black solid suit like they were told. God only knows what they told the cops at first, but this is not what they're saying now.
And see, this is where a lot of people started saying they were misleading of what he was wearing in the beginning, because here's Smiley saying it's a criminal investigation and all of this shit, like making huge little minor details into big, huge dramatic things.
They know that they're looking in the landfill. Are they telling the truth because they know what they're going to find this boy in? Is this what's going on?
And she also said that the cadaver dogs hit on the landfill. That wasn't true either.
Is this what's going on? I don't know. So now we're in this particular interview, and Fox 17 News with Caitlin Miller is speaking to these parents that will not show their face, but will show them holding each other's hands. Funny, they ain't comforting each other anytime prior to that. So Sebastian is now in a whole set of different clothes. Absolutely, September. You're going to have to, no, don't rewind because I'm fixing to play this video. I'm just going over what happened. And the stepdad says these three things. The majority of what is on his clothes, and he laughs out loud real hard, was the Minecraft, or the three things. Those were the majority of the three things that would be on the front of his clothes. I'm like, seriously? Y'all were just told he might be in a landfill somewhere, and you laugh real hard, and now you change his whole outfit, the entire thing. But they did say that the shoes was accounted for.
They did not change his entire outfit. That is not even remotely what happened. But here we go again with creators building falsehoods out of nothing.
Consistent, lying, I don't know. But they sure are suspicious, in my opinion. Again, mom states he's not a runner, but the doors are locked. Okay. The stepdad said they have done everything, because the police have done everything, and he will not divulge. And that was when a question was asked, where would you look, or what have you done, or something like that. Remember, the real dad's been out there searching every day. He come all the way from Clarksville to search every day.
Again, this is March 8th. So we know that law enforcement had told the parents they didn't want them out there searching. Seth drove around in a truck. He said he was hollering out the windows for Sebastian in the first couple days. Well, we don't know if he was actually out there besides at that point in time. And then him and Chris went together at one point in time to check into some leads too. But that's all we know. But here she is already building a huge division.
And now he don't want to divulge any of that. He says, we're doing everything that they tell us to do. Now he's distancing himself again because they don't want to be the guilty ones. Okay. So she said, well, she asked it kind of different. She said, let me just ask you this way. Where would you tell the public to look? So then he answered, he could divulge it then. He sure could divulge it then. He said, well, just anywhere and everywhere. Just look anywhere and everywhere. They should just look anywhere and everywhere. They've looked at parks and, everywhere, the woods, and, he likes to play, all that stuff. They were asked about the landfill, and he said everyone has opinions. So they realized, so that's when I realized again that it was after the landfill search. These people.
Can you guys believe the amount of lies that are being told already? Like, there's just so many lies in this that were built into baseline facts that have carried through the entire story. People ran with this and thought it was correct.
If they haven't done anything, boy, they need to work on their looking suspicious skills. That's all I got to say. None of my business, though, right? Yeah, it's my business. It's everybody's business when when all these resources have went out and looked for somebody's child like that. It sure is.
Look at her. Look at her.
Again, people say people act different.
All these resources that have went out and looked for someone's child. Are you mad that the resources were out there looking? Like, what?
Different. Well, yeah, they've acted different and reacted different on all 3 interviews that I saw, and this one was the most jaw-dropping to me. And knowing that they're searching the landfill and a cadaver dog possibly hit, I think
now it's a cadaver dog possibly hit. Notice that change in the story. Never happened. Never happened. That's fabricated.
I would be a little bit more. See, I think I would be a little bit more upset. Let's listen to this interview. I got more stuff to say, but let's listen. Good morning, everybody coming in. And this is the interview with the mother and the stepfather after they found out again that they were searching the landfill. And this is with Fox News 17, Katie Miller.
Caitlin Miller. Caitlin.
I just want you to see their hands.
Spelling. Katie Proudfoot, Katie, Proudfoot, Proudfoot.
That's how they said the whole time.
Chris, CHRIS, last name's Proudfoot, PROUDFOOT.
So, I mean, first, just as parents, tell me what the last now over a week has been like for you two.
Horrible beyond words. This was an experience that I would have never dreamed would come. Honestly, I can't put words to how hard this has been and how much it hurts not knowing where my son is, where he's at, if he's okay. Just horrible is the best thing I can say.
Look at these people in her chat that she's been in the comments of. Staged.
What about for you?
It's rough. I mean,
it's rough.
Day 11, no answers. And the horrible things that people say just keep rolling in, regardless of taking time to consider the facts and, assumptions is what they're going off of.
But wait, he said later he don't listen to it.
So we sit here and we wait, and hopefully we'll get an answer, or hopefully he walks through our door. This will be amazing.
I was going to say, how badly do you both want Sebastian to just walk through that front door to get that call?
I'd give anything. In a heartbeat, I would give anything.
It's not measurable. Let's put it that way. There's no measurable. Anybody says all it is. You've never sat in these shoes. You've never been in this situation. And I don't ever wish for people to be in this situation. And what's Sebastian like? What's his personality like? What does he love to do?
I will. I had to wait till I stop
He,
it.
for the most part, is happy. He likes to laugh and joke and tell you all about everything and then some. He loves games. He loves video games. He loves to play with his Legos. Building things with me. We build little projects here and there, but
oh, wait a minute. I'm just gonna stop it there a minute and I'm gonna copy it. Hold on.
we build little projects here and there, but
hold on, I'm gonna see if I can do it right this minute.
NF, she is not a good person, period. This is March 8th. Yeah, Rainbow. This is the crazy thing is, look how they're ripping these parents apart.
Sorry, I had to do that, y'all.
We have seen everything that local news and law enforcement has been saying and doing. Parents have been cooperative. Parents are still there. They haven't left their home yet. And look at how they're being shredded by creators because they are suspicious. Meanwhile, completely misleading their audiences with the facts. They're not even telling them the facts. They're making shit up as they go.
Okay.
He's
Thank you, Duchess, for the support. Thank you for showing the truth of how this all began. Island Strong. It truly is eye-opening. And the sad thing is it'll happen to the next case that they all drive their grimy mitts into.
He's always character.
That's the link to the interview.
Are there any weird tendencies that he has that might be able to help people find him in the search?
I don't know how helpful to finding him, but he fidgets constantly. He loves shiny pennies, paper clips. He's always like, whenever we go to the grocery store, he always looks on the ground and looks under the register counter, and he's always looking for shiny pennies everywhere. Paper clips. He loves to bend them out of shape and play with them, fidget with them. He loves playgrounds. I mean, we've said it before, he likes fishing and things like that. But
Cats.
Hold on. Oh, shoot.
He's always a character.
Are there any like weird tendencies that he has that might be able to help people find him in the search?
I don't know how helpful to finding him, but he fidgets constantly. He loves shiny pennies, paper clips. He's always like, whenever we go to the grocery
Look at how she's trying to think of how she can build the next thing.
store, he always looks on the ground and looks under the register counter, and he's always looking for shiny pennies everywhere. Paper clips. He loves to
100%.
bend them out of shape and play with them, fidget with them.
Thor, it's been worse since the 2nd of March. I mean, the 27th of February, truly. Like, it hasn't stopped every single day.
See how she's rubbing her thumb against his hand? She does that the whole interview. See that over there?
I mean, we've said it before, he likes fishing and things like that.
Okay, that's what I want to get. Now, she didn't say he liked fishing. The real dad said he liked fishing. I want to make sure I heard that right.
I don't know. He's just.
Good morning, funny face.
He's a good kid.
There are no leads, nothing caught on video. Your son has been missing.
Funny face. She changed his whole outfit.
How does that make you feel as parents?
I mean, I don't have words to describe how I'm feeling right now. I mean, every day is
By the way, this is sped up, so that's why Katie sounds a little sped up.
harder than the last.
It's 1.5.
We're out, we're looking, we're trying to make sure that everyone stays looking and doesn't let his face fall to the bottom of a feed or get covered by some other nonsense. I mean, we just want our boy.
Don't she sound so much more calm? I could stop
When you walked in Monday morning and did
I think I moved it
doing our
again.
thing, running around.
Oh, I know what
we
it
had
is.
dinner that evening.
I think I moved it again. Whoops.
the events that happened,
That but when I realized he actually wasn't in the house, every day is.
I'm sorry,
son
hold
has
on a
been
minute.
missing for 11 days now. How does that make you feel as parents?
Thank you, Cassie. Hold on a minute.
I mean, I don't have words to describe how I'm feeling right now. I mean,
In my opinion, they're trying to make a big deal out of their hands because Taffy, they're trying to act like they didn't want their faces to be seen because they're hiding something. So they're like, that's what she's trying to imply. That's what I take from it. You guys might feel differently, but that's what I think she's trying to imply.
You stop.
every day is.
And Travis Trent was there.
Than the last.
My goodness. Well,
I mean,
look, I don't mean to keep stopping it. I'm sorry. Something was in the way a while ago and it kept making it go back. I fixed it, I think. Yeah, but here's the thing, Cassie. I found this. Y'all may have saw it, you may have not. But with this news interview, I found it was after. I found it this morning. Some of you may have saw it. It was after they knew that they were searching the landfill. The parents knew that, or the stepdad and mom. And guess what?
Okay.
She's now.
Sorry, I had to do that, y'all.
She's now giving. She's now giving a description of. Yeah, it's black pants and stuff, but she's giving a whole different description of what he was wearing, which that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out with cops. I mean, that's just crazy. So let me move this. Oh God, where did I go? Okay. Oh, no, I don't want that. Okay. Sorry, hold on.
I mean, we're out, we're looking, we're trying to make sure that everyone stays looking and doesn't let his face fall to the bottom of a feed or.
Hold on, Angel. Will you go up if you
Get
can?
covered by
Catch
some
that
other
link and drop it
nonsense. I
again
think
that I just dropped earlier. It's the
just want our
station.
boy home.
When you walked in Monday morning and didn't see Sebastian
If you can't,
in
don't
his
worry about
room, what was your gut reaction?
My very first reaction was, oh, he got up and got breakfast.
Thank you all for commenting in the chat. I'm reading your guys' comments as I play this, and I'm so glad to see how many of you are picking up on things that are incorrect or what they are intentionally doing. But this is exactly how, like, this is an awareness case. March 8th, and Sebastian is missing, and she is pissed because Duchess got the interview, and so she decided to pick sides and start picking apart every little thing and factually misinforming her audience. When I say factually, we are watching her factually misinform by the cadaver dogs, saying they moved, saying, all these things. It is ridiculous. And thank you, InnoVapor, for the explanation. of what you think she's implying there or what they're trying to imply, that's a perfect description.
But when I realized he actually wasn't in the house, I've never experienced sheer panic in the way that I did. And basically for every minute since, that not knowing where your child is a pain that
it's coming up. The description of it, just watch.
I've never known pain like this before.
Thank you.
And walk me through the events that happened, you know, from Sunday leading up to Monday when you didn't see him that morning.
Sunday, we were out and about. We had a really good day. We were out doing our thing, running around. You know, we had dinner that evening. And when we came home, we had a pretty good evening together as well. He was playing right up until bedtime, and then some I let him stay up a little late. And when I told him to go to bed, you know, he's like, "I love you, Mom. I love you, puppies." And he went to bed. And I went to bed around midnight. Everything seemed fine. And when I went to wake him up for school, that's when I couldn't find him. He wasn't in his room, and he wasn't in the house. And that's when I panicked.
And when you panicked, what did you do?
First thing I did was call my husband. And I said, "He's not here." My husband said, "What do you mean he's not here?" I said, "He's not in the house." And he said, you know, immediately just started, you know, "Did you check here? Did you check there? Did you look here?" And I ran through the house. And at that point, I was
Still doing that.
hysterical, for lack of a word. And we three-wayed the police. And I'm within minutes they were here. I couldn't tell you exactly how long. I know it was fast. And we haven't found him.
When I got the phone call that he was missing, like she said, we asked questions like, "Where's he at? Check this, check that." And then we called the sheriff's department. After we called the sheriff's department, I stayed on the phone pretty much most of the time. And then while I was at work, I asked for a relief. Got a relief. Got in my truck from Memphis and made my way to Nashville.
And that was, I guess, Monday?
The morning that he was missing, yes.
Okay. And so what was your reaction when you...
Right there, he states he asked for relief. Not like he could just walk off the job.
got that call from your wife that Sebastian was missing?
I'm not sure yet.
I guess I was like, "Oh, he's been around again. Here we go. He's like hiding." And then when we talked about the places to check and he's not there, I was like, "Okay, stop." Instantly. Call the police. Instantly. I'm a black and white kind of guy.
And to your knowledge, he didn't take shoes with him, right? He locked the door on his way out. Or I guess, what are some of the things that you think he did as he left?
We checked for all of his shoes and none of them are missing. The door was locked.
And what was there some discrepancy as to what he was wearing when he went to bed, or what was he last seen wearing? What was he wearing to bed that night?
When he went to bed, he was wearing black sweatpants with white stripes down the side. And he had on a black long sleeve black shirt.
The interviewer, Smiley, said there were some discrepancies in what he was wearing. So she's re-asking the question because law enforcement got it wrong.
With a print on the front. I'm pretty sure it was one of his
like Star Wars or Halloween or
even Minecraft.
Yeah,
Those are the three main
things. The three
things.
things that majority is on his clothes.
Yeah.
So now it's not all black anymore, which will be easier to remember because it was black sweatpants and a black hoodie. Remember? All black. Now it's black sweatpants with white stripes down the side. Exactly, Broad Angel. Now you're getting what I'm putting down. You're picking it up. Now it's a...
He always looks on the ground.
Oh my God, these people.
Now it's a black t-shirt with designs on it.
Hey, Mal.
Where'd I go?
I would too, Miss Upper Thigh. I would call Kyle first before anybody else. Y'all know that.
And obviously you guys are going through the unimaginable and then, you know, getting a lot of like the kickback that you've seen on social media. I mean, how much worse has that made it for you two to go through something like this?
Honestly, we stopped looking at it. There's a lot of terrible people in this world, and I don't want to waste energy on any of that. I want the focus on finding our son. The facts are the facts. I mean, the police know the facts, and
sure do.
all I ask of anyone is if they're able and willing is to help find him, help spread his flyer, help look for him, call in if you know anything or see anything. But we just ask that people focus on finding Sebastian.
With a design.
He's never done anything like that before, right? Just
with a
kind of walked out of the
design.
house.
He's once again pleading with people to focus on helping find Sebastian, but they never cared, right?
He's not a runner. This is not normal for him to run away. He's not a runner.
And any places.
Thank you,
I guess,
Tracy.
I know you guys have
We
been told to
appreciate
stay in
you.
the house, right? Just in case he comes home.
We are doing what we've been asked to do by the law enforcement agencies and everybody involved.
It shuts down.
I'm not going to divulge anything more than that.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to ask, I guess, next is if you were to go out and search right now, if people want to help search, what types of places would you guys look at that he could maybe be at?
Anywhere and everywhere. At this point,
It's been 11 days. He could be anywhere.
Yeah, they've searched the woods, they've searched parks, they've searched creeks, they've searched, at this point, anything and everything.
Anywhere that he
please
could
search.
be staying out of the weather or getting food or, I mean, honestly,
No emotions. What the fuck? Again, they're sped up. There was absolute emotion in this. They're trying to be composed because they're doing an interview, trying to get the word out about their son, bringing awareness.
at this point, he could genuinely be anywhere.
How hopeful are you two that he will come home?
I will never give up hope on finding my child.
Optimism is at its highest, regardless.
Our son is out there. We're going to find him.
And now publicly, like obviously police are now investigating the landfill. People are speaking out about that. What are your thoughts about that?
Everybody has an opinion and their assumptions, and they are entitled to those. But as I've stated before, all we've asked people to do is to look at the facts, not what everybody's putting out there. If
We
they have
think what she's saying, baby.
Call the law enforcement agencies.
March fucking 8th. The rumor mill had already pulled out their pitchforks against this family. Think about that. Sebastian went missing February 26th. And by March 8th, I mean way sooner than that. But the pitchforks are fully out in effect after this family.
And they'll give you whatever they can give you. But the assumptions are just that. They are an assumption.
Hold on. He didn't just really go there. He said, call the law enforcement and they'll give you whatever they can give you. Don't ask us. Well, they're the ones doing these interviews. I think I'd shut down about right now. Maybe they got a lawyer, maybe they don't, but they sure ain't doing a good job of shutting up. They are stepping in it left and right. And every time something changes.
And again, no, in my opinion, these aren't significant changes that we've seen at all. But unlike you, who is just out here lying about shit, like a cadaver dog hit, like it's a criminal investigation, all that shit that you're doing, Smiley, one of your first characters to turn this into a shit show. So while everybody's out here pointing fingers on their red and green team, just know, we see you. We see y'all.
I mean, we've said before, he likes fishing and things like that. But,
And of course, they couldn't all be on one side. Somebody had to go to the opposition.
Yes. But the assumptions are just that. They are an assumption, your opinions. We pray for everybody. Hopefully this never happens to you. And if it ever does, then you'll understand. But I pray it doesn't.
And they're doing their job.
It don't matter, Crystal. It's changed now. It's something else now. It's just a t-shirt with designs on it.
And by the way, if you can't tell, I'm salty. 100% salty and fed up with the fuckery. And worried sick about the next family that they leech onto and can do this to. I'm worried sick about the next victim and their family that is about to come. Because unfortunately, we can't stop it and we know it's going to happen.
That's all. No worries.
Their goal is the same. We just want to find him.
If you could say something to Sebastian, if he's listening right now, what would you say to him?
Trev, I don't know if you heard this interview or not, but
and we miss you.
drop this link again if you will, Borrow Angel.
And just know that
they've changed what it was.
We all care about you so
his
much.
clothes designs and stuff.
See, and there's Trev time. This is where I get really irritated with Trev time. Sorry, Chris. Cadaver dog hit isn't an assumption. Who told Trev time that? Do you guys see that? Sorry, I don't know why it's doing that. Let me see if I can hit.
You're not in trouble. That door's unlocked and waiting for you to come home. Your puppies miss you. Your family misses you. I miss you. Just come home.
Anything else that you two want to add or clear up or anything like that?
Okay, just help us find our son.
I wonder if Trev time was talking to Seth by this point. I wish Trev was in here so we could ask him who told him that.
So, y'all, what do y'all think about that? Trev, did you see this interview? It was on Fox 17 with Caitlin Miller last night, where they told, and you're welcome to come up here if you want to. Let me invite you up here if you want to. I just find this really interesting. I come across it this morning, and
Rusty, honestly, I'm not even pissed. I'm disgusted. Like, I don't understand how people can do this to people at their worst time. And it's not just Slimy. It's so many people. Like, there's a whole genre doing this to these families. Pissed isn't even the correct description. And I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it's just disgusting because we know it's going to happen to another one. We know it's coming for another family and there's nothing we can do to stop it. Like, it is the most helpless feeling knowing that the next victim and the next family that they can do this to, they will absolutely do it to. You go back and look at how many Spanky, Brittany, Slimy, all of them have been involved in. Kylie Rodney, Marvon McCrae, Quentin Simon, like so many, Idaho 4, the Delphi case. Like, there's just from one to another to another.
I'm just like, seriously? It's not all black anymore. Now it's got black stripes down the side and a black t-shirt with long sleeves.
I had a hard time with Trevor at first. You guys know that because I was really disappointed in his behavior. But I think he learned a hard lesson in this case. I really do.
And with the design on the front. I'm like, what? Yeah, it really had you thinking about that. And now they're just as calm as they can be. I don't know. That's just crazy to me. I feel like today, in my opinion, this is my opinion only, that more stuff will probably pop off. They're going to continue to search today in the landfill. And, you know, they have lots more, I'm sure, since this interview to dig through. Again, I wonder if they put the proper clothes on him. Thank you, Sugar Plum, for becoming a member. I wonder if, and this is just my mind and my thoughts, only in my opinion, I wonder if they put the proper clothes on him now because they think, you know, or they know that they will find him. Hey, Nana for life. I've been so worried about you, Nana. I'm glad to see you out. But yeah, that's just my thoughts and everything. And I'm really worried. I'm really worried. Nothing would suit me better if I am wrong on my thoughts and opinions. It's sad you have to think like this about people, and it's really bad. I want him to still walk through that door and pop up, and somewhere with that beautiful smile that we've all seen everywhere. I really do. I want this to be a miracle story. I do. But this is what I say right now. It's a wing and a prayer. It's a wing and a prayer. I told y'all yesterday. I want to leave you with this.
Rusty, I agree. Unfortunately, people get addicted to the money and the clicks, and some people get addicted to the attention because it's the first time that they feel that they're validated in some way. Some people aren't even addicted to the money, which is even scarier. They're addicted to the falsehood, the attention, the fitting in of sorts, the being part of a group, the being accepted, the thinking that they're doing something to help these cases. Meanwhile, they are actually impeding investigations. Like, it's really scary.
This is one of my favorite of all times.
That's a much better.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures.
And here we are with the faith manipulation. I'm sorry. I'm going to call it what it is. This is complete faith manipulation.
He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, I walk through the shadow of the valley of death. I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely good and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And that's Psalms 23, and that's one of my all-time favorite verses ever in the Bible. And I still hold out hope, and I ask you to also hold out hope until Ellie says otherwise. But if it comes to bad news, because it just keeps getting worse and worse, then I want to assure you of one thing. Sebastian, this sweet.
And factually, nothing had changed to make it worse. There was nothing that was making it worse except more days had passed and he wasn't found. The facts have not changed to make it worse. What they're concocting has been worse, the stories that they're telling, but the baseline has never changed.
The gift will have his cup runneth over by the Lord, and he will never be hurt or in pain, and he will never be sad, and he will have all the friends he could ever want. But I just hope it does not come to that. Let's pray we all are wrong and they get the sweet boy found safely. Otherwise, if not, then pray they make an arrest, because he didn't walk himself to the dump. He didn't walk himself to Kentucky.
And he wasn't found in Kentucky, as we heard.
And he didn't get there by driving himself either. So whoever did this, if it is this and it comes to this, let them get served everything they deserve. That's the way I feel about it. And I hope and I pray that I'm wrong. And again, I hope this is a miracle story. I really do. This has to be one of the saddest stories. And pardon me. And I don't know, but yeah. Funny face Brenda said, Sebastian's friend. You know what? We should all start hashtagging Sebastian's friend. We really should. Sebastian's friend. No worries. We are all Sebastian's friends.
March 8th. They're all Sebastian's friends. Random fucking adult strangers lying on his parents and misinterpreting their words are Sebastian's friends. Hallelujah. Amen. Dear baby, little Jesus.
We love Sebastian.
Oh.
We don't have to know him. We love him.
We love him. March 8th. We love him. We don't have to know him. Mm-hmm. That started early on too, didn't it? From yours too.
And you know, the world has come to know him now, and everybody, you know, wants him found safely. That's right, Daisy Joe. That's right. There you go. I'm going to put that up there, and I will leave it up there. If you have any information on him, you know, please call the 1-800-TBI-FIND. I have all the other numbers in my description. You know, I want y'all to call.
Miles, can you imagine? And can you imagine, like, I'm not going to puff my chest or pat myself on the back, but can you imagine if the creators with these huge numbers did something once a month, once every 6 months for charity? All you do is hit a button to attach a fundraiser. Like, we've raised $5 shy of $3,000 in a month's time for charity for these organizations that are helping these families. Can you imagine if some of these huge creators like the Lore Lodge did one every 6 months or something like that to pay back to their communities and to, can you imagine? But it doesn't, Mal. It doesn't. I mean, truly, I think people think that. Like, I don't know how they think that. It's not their money. I mean, I don't know.
They say leave no stone unturned, and nothing is too small. Absolutely nothing is too small. Just keep on it. Drop Trev Times link, and please go over there and keep up with him. He's done such a fabulous job, and he loves all the children, and he keeps up with everything, Sebastian, and he keeps everything up to date. So I'm so proud of him, and y'all just keep Sebastian's name and face out there until otherwise. Okay. I love you all. Thank you all. And it was so good to see you all. And thank you, Canadian Mama Bear. That just come up. I love you. Thank you, Canadian Mama Bear. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. You know, it means
this channel,
the world, not to me, but it means the world to all of these kids and these missing people or whoever they are, to have a support of a platform, because this is how we get their name and everything out.
No, this is exploitation, Smiley. This is what this is. This isn't what awareness looks like. You didn't even show his flyer one time during this. That's exploitation. That's not awareness. Again,
not just me. I'm just little. I'm tiny. I'm nobody special. But if I use my voice and people share this, then it goes from here to Facebook to wherever, Twitter, places I don't even know where go.
Misinformation. Yep. Keeps on pushing that misinformation out.
And then their friends, and then their friends, and their friends. And the word, somebody might see something or know something, and it may be the key to solving this, or Summer Wells, or Monkey Vaughn, or who knows. We don't know. You never know who's watching or who's going to watch. And it could be today. It could be tomorrow. It could be 5 years from now. But that is the way it is. And that's why I only want this channel to be good. I do. I don't have time for the nonsense. And I'm not going to I'm not going to deal in it anymore. I just want these kids found. That's the most important. But you all mean so much to me, and I thank you all so very much for being here. Thank you for your support and love to you all. Please keep Sebastian out there. Thank you all. Thank you, Trev. Thank you all for being in here. Everybody, thank you, Borrowed Angel. Everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, bitch. Bye. All right, let's go. Let's do it. Buckle up, friends. Right? Rainbow? Right. 100%. Okay, before we get into this, I just got to remind you, when it comes to Smiley, before we transition, it's all about this.
Did y'all not see it? It was Duchess. See it. It was Duchess.
Kimberly says, Smiley is the worst to say allegedly, in my opinion. Drives me nuts and it's asinine. It's like saying, this isn't what I think, but I'm presenting it as though it might be my opinion, right? Oh God, the way she does it too. Allegedly, in my opinion, allegedly. It's like, what? Can you make up your mind? All right, you guys. Transitioning. Here we go. Y'all know who this is? This is Peter Hyatt. So again, we're still on March 8th. I told you guys March 8th is rough. But Peter Hyatt, who has 44.8 thousand subscribers, just a reminder of who Peter Hyatt is for those that might not know. Peter Hyatt is, oh God, his about section doesn't say it. Hold on. Now I got to go back out here. What is he? He's supposedly, he's a psychologist. Is that right? He's psych something. He's something in the whole arena of something. I'm like, sorry. I can't remember what he is. I think he's a psychologist, if I'm correct. He's seen as some sort of authority figure, though, in this case. And it drives me bonkers because people just run with his information, get it wrong over and over again. Okay, hold on. Let me get back to that one. Now I got to go through all these stinking silly things right quick. Oh, wrong one. Why did I bump myself out of there? That's ICMEL. That's Mo & Co. See, when you have too many things pulled up at once, what happens to you? You become Becky and confused in your own thing. Isn't he? He's a licensed social worker. Yeah, I don't know. He's a criminologist. Yeah, he's something. I don't know if he says or states it in here, but here we go. Here we go. So March 8th, again, reminder of who this is. Peter Hyatt. Let's take a look. Oh, let me show you guys just to make sure that you guys know I'm on the same right one. March 8th, 2024. Let's see what he has to say.
Sebastian Rogers' picture there.
And we are going to speed him up. Again, Peter he's got some unfortunate circumstances going on right now with some illness. And I wish nothing but the best for him in his journey to beat cancer. But problematic behavior in these cases is still problematic behavior. And unfortunately, although I wish him extremely well and the best in his cancer journey, I will not overlook the harm, in my opinion, that he has done to this family and others with his analysis that he has given.
I want to make sure that's going through.
Thank you, Duchess. And Michelle, did I say thank you? Kimberly.
Okay, so it looks like it is going through. Good.
Oh.
What I'd like to do is first play the
Hold on. I got to move this. Give me a second. I'm moving tabs. So we're going for a ride. I told you guys I was out of practice. Kimberly, thank you for the support too. He's a statement analysis. Oh, like, does he have a deception deck too? I wonder.
Short interview. This is going to be about a 15-year-old autistic boy who has gone missing. I believe it was February 26th, the morning of the 26th, when he was reported missing by his mother. Just be forewarned, the video is highly edited from the media.
Okay, so Duchess just looked up a little bit about Peter Hyatt. Peter Hyatt, LSW, licensed social worker, is a statement analyst and instructor who teaches deception detection and analytical interviewing to law enforcement and private corporations in the United States and Europe. Formerly an investigator for DHHS Maine, he authored the state's agency investigator training manual and provided training. He has been interviewed extensively on radio and television, including the nationally televised program Crime Watch Daily, Taken Too Soon, the Caitlin Markham Story documentary, and the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. He holds law enforcement seminars, including HIDTA, High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area 2016 to present, as well as the author of a complete statement analysis and advanced analysis courses with students from the US, Canada, Europe, South Africa, Russia, New Zealand, and Australia. He has guest lectured at the FBI National Academy, as well as spoken to business conventions on detecting deception and linguistic profiling and employment analysis. Oh my gosh. He currently assists law enforcement in investigations, including cold case analysis. He leads an international team of experts in monthly analysis training, including requests from various law enforcement agencies. So he is considered, HyattAnalysis.com. Books, Wise as a Serpent, Gentle as a Dove, Dealing with Deception. All right. There you go. Thank you, Duchess.
And I'll have some comments on that as well. But let me see if I can show the video first, and you'll be able to hear things for yourself here.
The county described to us exclusively how they feel on day 8 of their son's disappearance. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Marius Page.
And I'm Lauren Lowry. Sebastian Rogers is 15. He was last seen by his parents on February 25th in Hendersonville. Sebastian has autism, and he's gone without his medication this whole time. And since then, authorities have searched by air, by foot, and on horseback.
Helicopters, drones.
Grandma Nini, is it you that sent me the Facebook short here, or the reel of the brow? Is that the one you wanted me to look at? I'm looking at it now.
And dive teams have also been brought in to try to find him. Today, his parents spoke exclusively to our Holly Thompson.
She's live tonight in Sumner County. Holly, I imagine it was quite an emotional interview.
Certainly was. It is hard for any of us to imagine the emotions that this family is going through right now. But we know one thing is certain. They remain positive. They are holding on to hope that their son Sebastian will return home safely.
Grandma Nini, I will play it between this and the next one.
Can you walk us through what you're thinking right now?
I just want my baby to be okay. I don't know where he's at.
Mom Katie broke down several times in our interview, but says her hope is strong that her son Sebastian will be found safe and return home.
He's gonna walk through that door, and the street will be flooded again with family and relatives all waiting to hug and love him. And
Stepdad Chris says it's been an emotional roller coaster that all started Sunday night, February 25th.
Pretty normal. He was playing in his room. When I told him to go to bed, he did. He said, "Good night, Mom. I love you."
Katie says she went to wake up Sebastian around 6 a.m. Monday for school, and he was gone. Within minutes, Katie says she was on the phone with Chris, who was working out of town, and they quickly called 911.
And he's not a runner. He's never run away before. I don't know why. I don't know why he walked out that door.
I mean, he's a good kid. He's not a mischievous child by any means.
Katie and Chris say Sebastian is not on social media. While he loves to play Minecraft, they tell me he does not
I've learned so much from him so far.
have any online capabilities. I asked if there was any reason he might want to leave.
We've been combing over that day and even the weeks before he left, and I hadn't been able to figure it out. He's that morning he was laughing, he was joking.
It's as if Sebastian vanished. No sign of him on any video throughout the community. Thousands of miles logged by law enforcement, canines, helicopters, even dive teams, and no sign of him. Chris and Katie tell me they've been harassed, people pointing fingers at them.
You're not in this situation. You don't quite understand. I wish people would step back, take a different wide open view, and not assume.
So this leads me to believe that he's already analyzed this and already has what he wants to say put down, because he's barely paying attention to what is even being said. He's not even acting like he's paying attention to it. So he already has his analysis written out, and he's just added to his notes right now.
What they know. It's just better to stick to the facts.
Are you both in the clear?
I can tell you that Mom, myself, and the father have worked very fully and cooperatively with all agencies across the board. We have anything that they've wanted, we have provided.
What do you want to say to Sebastian?
Terry, I was shocked. I forgot about that.
What do you want him to hear from you right now?
That we love you so much and we want you to come home and you're not in trouble.
So Katie did tell me that even though Sebastian does have autism, he is a smart teenager. He is highly functional. They say if you see him, say his name, say Sebastian, and he'll respond. He'll at least acknowledge you. And I can tell you, this is my home. This is my community. And the people here are strong. They say they will continue to search. They will continue to hope and continue to pray for Sebastian's safe return. And by the way, you can watch my full exclusive interview with Sebastian's parents on our WSMV4 app. Live here in Hendersonville, Holly Thompson, WSMV4. Back.
Okay, so that was the news blurb.
Yes, that is absolutely true. Like, we don't, Sunday, absolutely. Peter Hyatt, we might disagree with him and his insertion of his opinions and his analysis in this case, but both things can exist. We can disagree and push back on his opinions and how harmful this is to cases, and still at the same time wish him incredible health and well-being on his journey. I would wish nobody to go through any of what cancer fighters and survivors go through.
You may have noticed the interviewer, I think, was somewhat theatrical, giving a perhaps even an exaggerated facial appearance that she's concerned, unnecessary moralizing. It doesn't help facilitate the flow of information in an interview. I recognize that it's on television and ratings matter and audiences matter, that sort of thing. But in terms of gathering information, that itself, even that type of demeanor can influence answers. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that. And then I'd like to also contrast that with the, I'm going to call him bio-dad, the biological father.
Kathy, that absolutely can be true too. He can have great analysis. I'm sure at some point in time he did. It's just incredibly harmful when they do stuff like this in active cases.
Because the one we just saw now was a stepfather. And some of the things that I think were a bit concerning from what the parents, the mother and the stepfather had to say there.
Exactly, Angel.
So it's very edited, so we have to be very careful, and we have to consider the context. And the context starts off with, we have a teenager. And that is, of course, always an area that can, or at least we should explore for the possibility of arguing, temperamental, highly or acute hormonal responses. But
and some of the stuff he says, I don't disagree with either. That's true too.
But in this case, we're looking at someone with autism. Kids with autism do run away. Kids with autism are drawn to water. And so those are things that are concerning. And I'd like to look at some of those external factors before we get to the language. So that's a concern. And the mother described how he will respond to his name. So that suggests that the autism is more than mild. When we look at a missing child with special needs, in spite of age 15.
And I think this is where a lot of people started using the autism diagnosis to encapsulate who Sebastian is. And I think that's where things for me got really sticky, because people started discrediting, Sebastian. Everything was an autistic teenager, a teenager with autism. It became the forefront of everything Sebastian. And instead of listening to who is Sebastian beyond a diagnosis, what are his behaviors beyond a diagnosis? Yes, it plays into it, but they put so much effort into that. I think people got lost.
I don't know if he's capable of self-protection. I don't know if he's capable of obtaining food for himself, surviving out there, that sort of thing. I don't have the answer to that. I don't know much about him. What I do know in behavioral analysis is that this heavy responsibility of having a special needs child may increase the odds of some form of abuse and neglect. It just, and this is not about this family, this is in general itself, because parents get worn down. They can lose their temper once and something can go wrong. They may have a difficult time getting breaks for themselves to recover. And none of this I know regarding this family, what it's like. All I know is from a few short quotes and a little bit of behavioral analysis. So number one, where there is a high need child, an acute need child, there's always a risk. And that can be from whoever is watching him or her at that time. Anyone can lose their temper.
Rainbow, very concerning because you're using highly edited videos out of context, not face-to-face. You're not getting an actual read. You don't have any real interaction. It's just what the news wants you to see is very problematic. That's what I noticed in the Marvon McRae story. And that's what flipped my head on a swivel, because I was realizing that I was forming an opinion based on highly edited videos.
It takes a really special person to, I think, navigate some of these difficulties.
It is, Amy.
Secondly,
it is.
Just going by statistics, stepfathers get looked at. Stepfathers and boyfriends are often found to be more abusive in these type of cases. I don't know if that's the case here or not, but just one of those things that's going to factor in. It's like trying to think of a 15-year-old who is missing without thinking of the factors around the 15-year-old. It's difficult to do. And I'm not sure about the wisdom of it. We need to listen and we need to pay attention to the context. The next area of behavioral analysis is this particular station said that this is an exclusive, and the quote to introduce it, the story was, the mother or the family breaks their silence. So one of the questions I have,
and that's not correct either, because they had already broke their silence by being on Duchesses,
is why would you be silent? If your high needs or special needs child, 15, is missing, how is it that you're able to?
But they didn't get to pick the title of the news segment either. Come on. Mainstream media does that.
Quench the instinct to call out to that child for what appears to be about a week or so. Why would you need to break your silence? Why would you be silent? Why would you not immediately call out to that child? Interesting, we saw the father, the bio father, being interviewed. He was speaking to his son and giving him advice about how to run away. That's expected. That's a norm. But this delay concerns me, and I'd like to look at a couple of the statements that they said.
But it's interesting to me that he's giving no credit into the fact that Seth didn't come out until after Chris and Katie. Again, just observations from me.
So the bio dad spoke and said he was on a roller coaster. When you hear roller coaster, it means up and down, up and down. Perfect time for an interviewer to ask about that. What are the lows like for you? What are the times that are up like for you? But no such question was asked. He talked about coming through the door, which I was just a little concerned about in terms of how that plays out within analysis. I've heard him in other clips, and one of the ones I had cited, I believe I cited through social media, was with drop pronouns. I'll pull that up for you. The drop pronouns are always a concern, and here's what he said. So dad said, bio dad, if someone has you, run. Call 911, grab to anybody. That was good. That is something that's expected. The $1 million question, if you saw that quote, the $1 million question.
Do you ever think that maybe that they didn't ask them, like, this just, oh, okay, shut up, Becky.
That he asked.
And many other.
It was fascinating to me.
Helpless and hopeless, and many other emotions all in one, and it's a never-ending roller coaster. Doesn't stop. And I'm stopping until he walks through the door.
My son doesn't run. He's not a runner.
Okay, I think it's a different clip then. I apologize. $1 million question is, where are you? That's the question that I would ask and reach out to him. That would work well. So the stepfather and the mother have both insisted that he left on his own accord. And you say, well, how do you know that? As a parent, if you wake up and find your child missing, your mind is going to race in every direction. You're used to caring for the child, now suddenly you can't. And so instinct is going to be engaged. Would you assume that the child ran away? Well, if the child has a history of running away, yeah, you probably would go there. But according to the mother, there was no history of that. And the stepfather, in dropping pronouns, he went right to the point. In fact, I will read that. He went right to the point of the door. And that was concerning. And in the point of the door, and saying he walked out, or actually said walked out, would you know for sure that he wasn't taken? That he wasn't kidnapped? That he wasn't coerced? Or that he wasn't persuaded? Would you right go on his own? That no one was influencing him, that sort of thing? And he was asked about that. And he said, because we found the door locked in the morning. So that inclusion is a little bit concerning to me regarding how that is stated and how that's worded. And then there was another statement. The mom was asked about that day. And she actually said two things about that in the interview, if you caught that. There's several things, but about that day. It was pretty normal day. So there's nothing normal about a day when a child goes missing. There's nothing normal.
Speaking about the day before he went missing,
is concerning about that is that there is a need
the Sunday
to portray something as normal. And there's a few other things that she said there that are very concerning. Things that we cover routinely, unfortunately, in these cases. So normal portrayal of a
things we cover routinely in these cases: awareness of a missing child, that law enforcement had said that there was no indication of foul play, everything was on the table still, but no indication. It was a keypad door lock on the front door.
Something is normal. It should put investigators on alert that what has taken place is anything but normal. The need to normalize something that is just way out there. I once had a case many years ago.
Again, she was talking about the day before. Nothing seemed off about the day before's interactions. They went about their day without any problems, is what I took from it. You can have your own opinions. We don't know. We don't know.
A man was accused of sexually assaulting an adult with developmental disabilities.
But again, making these jumps into stories like this is absolutely painting a narrative and gave more credence to these people in their speculation and rumors based on complete falsehoods.
And my job was to investigate that. The referent said to me, before you get out there and investigate this, I need you to know that the guy that's being accused is a great guy. He's a retired medical doctor. He's in his 80s. He has a long white beard. He plays Santa everyone loves him. He's a great guy. And I said, okay, thank you. And as was my habit for these things, when I do an investigation, I don't let anyone set up an appointment for me, or at least I didn't. I do it myself. I make that call. It's very important because the first thing that someone hears is going to be important. Now, this man that I was calling to set up an appointment to speak is not supposed to know about the allegation. He shouldn't know. And that's very important. I want the cleanest response. I want him to say, I didn't molest so-and-so. I didn't touch him. When I introduced myself and told him where I was from, before I could get another word out, he yelled at me and he said, I am a normal man. The word normal, when someone uses that way, they're telling you something. They've either been considered abnormal by others, or they may consider themselves abnormal.
And this is where my eyes roll in the back of my head, and how dangerous this jump was to everybody trying to bring awareness to a missing child and keep it to the facts. And here you have experts that are coming in off of highly edited news segments and making an analysis and comparisons by the word normal. Ugh, I don't like it.
It's
Sorry,
the
I
need
don't
to
like it.
commit that. And I knew right that the first sentence, I knew he did it. The victim.
And I bet he would admit that it is very hard to get a full read through that type of interview.
In this case, had gone weeks without showering. He was more outgoing, and then suddenly he wasn't. You know, he was suffering and will suffer. So I knew that this man was concerned about being portrayed as abnormal, and he was giving that away. So to understand that, what I sometimes do in a seminar is I'll say, okay, children, let's gather. Once upon a time, it was a day like every other. And you will naturally see kids sit up a little bit because they know what's coming is not like every other day. It won't be boring. So when someone portrays something as normal, always look for the opposite. Always ask, why do they have a need to portray it that way? Mom went further. Mom said it was pretty normal. And so I looked at that. And now I'm concerned as anything but. And then she said, I told him to go to bed, and he did. So she's, you know, he's obedient. I'm not sure how many 15-year-olds obey that well. But remember, this is normal. And the 15-year-old said, good night, Mom. I love you. And that is, in context, a concern.
Whew, lock me up. I'm going to jail. Straight to jail. Kenna, thank you for being a member for 2 months. I'm going straight to jail because I tell my girls good night, love you every night. And I consider that really normal. I'm fucked. Take me to jail. Straight to jail. Don't pass go.
It has to be only in context. And here's why. We find this in domestic homicides and domestic violence, other problems, where someone says, I said goodnight to my daughter. I love you. Have a good night's sleep. And the need to include that I told my daughter, for example, that I love her, while giving a statement under duress of a missing child or of an investigation, is a sign of something very wrong. Now, why is that? Think about it. If I said, raise your hand if you tell your children you love them when you put them to bed, everyone does so. It's the need to tell police. It's the need to tell an audience while an investigation is going on. That is the alarming. And I had covered this once in a seminar where someone objected. And so I attempted to explain. I said, no, it's not concerning that you tell your child that you love him or her. It's concerning that during an investigation, that unnecessary emphasis is given. Well, no, I don't care. I want people to know I love my child. And
it's really concerning that he made all these jumps off of a little highly edited mainstream media interview and no other interaction.
that particular person had just been reported to Child Protective Services. So there was an alarm there. So it was provocative. We've also been able to, at times, with statements like this, I saw my girlfriend. I said, I love you. We'll see you later, babe. Term of endearment, pointing to the time of death. And I'm not saying that Sebastian isn't alive. What I am saying is I am very concerned about the need to portray the day as normal and then to have to verbalize him telling me, the mom, that he loves me. In other words, I'm a really good mom. I'm a good.
Yeah, I didn't get any of that. Like, you can tell I'm not an expert statement analyst because I didn't get any of that. And this crazy situation right here with Peter Hyatt set the tone for a lot of people to go back to this and be like, oh, an expert is saying this, so it must be true. Look at Peter Hyatt said this. It's got to be true.
Good person. My 15-year-old tells me. He goes to bed right when I say so, and he tells me he loves me. Now, I want every 15-year-old to obey her parents and go to bed when they're told to and get good night's sleep and say, I love you. That's great. But here, coming from a mother who has been silent for a week, who used the word normal, raises concern.
Even though 5 days previous to this, he said that they had been silent. She had spoke on Duchess's panel and done another interview, the 4th. So 2 interviews that he is completely disregarding.
And he was not a runaway. Oh, by the way, she also said about she went to wake him up for school or a day like that. She gave the reason of why she's waking him up, which catches my attention as well. He's not a runner. I don't know why he walked out that door. The fact that this is coming a week or so later.
Good night, baby. Have a good night.
Is really concerning. If she had said it in the beginning, I don't know why he walked out that door. It's an assumption. And he was a runaway. And he was experiencing teenage angst, for example. That might be fitting. A week later, he hasn't been found. The search has been tremendous. And you're still making that assumption? I'm now really concerned that he didn't walk out that door because of the language. And by the way, I am glancing at the comments when I can. And someone wrote, my son is nonverbal, so very vulnerable. It's unbelievable for people on the outside to understand that, how vulnerable they can be, including as adults, which was the case I cited earlier about the molestation of an adult male. Those that are nonverbal are open to all sorts of abuse and anger and outrage and everything else. So I don't like the assuming walked out that door. Then we have the interviewer, again, with the theatrics and the, just not a clean interview, but she asked them about coming under that suspicion. He didn't want to be judged. He wanted people to be quiet about it. And he didn't issue a denial, which always concerns me. But this is just my opinion after listening to them. I don't think things were good the night before he went missing. I don't believe it was a normal, peaceful, loving household like that. So at best, I think he ran away because they had a fight or something went wrong. And that's just my opinion. If they want to persuade me how good things are, it alerts me to the opposite. She said, the mom said later, regarding that morning, it was good. He was laughing. My question is, when did you hear him laughing? So I have concerns about the environment. Now, worst case scenario, which I hate to entertain, but of course it's provocative, is that we'll see a further investigation into the stepfather and the mother. That's worst case. So I go from, at best case, he's found, he ran away because of what happened that night. And the worst case scenario is the possibility of mother and stepfather facing criminal charges.
And there you go. And there we go. Yeah. He has completely misconstrued the information. He's mixing up 2 different accounts and making his analysis. So frustrating to hear these. It's so frustrating to hear these. Ugh. And I'm like, no wonder why we're here.
Any questions? I know there's very little to go on in terms of the statements and the heavy editing by the media there. But any questions on that? I just thought we'd take a few minutes just to, in case that's of any value.
And anybody shocked of how we got to where we are? I mean, seriously.
Karen Jessen, I thought he said, and I think she's speaking of the stepfather, I thought he was out of town. I believe he was out of town that morning or something. It wouldn't, in my mind, it wouldn't preclude him. Why are you so sure he walked out if you weren't there? That sort of thing. Whatever, and my timing could be off, whether it's the night or it was earlier. You know, that will probably be something be found out eventually when Sebastian is found. I believe that something went wrong in the time period before she said that she went to wake him up and he wasn't there. That's her quote. Not that he was missing, not that he was gone. And the door was locked. It was something they both repeated.
Oh, right, Terry.
Molly, good question. The dad saying the boy isn't mischievous, is that alarming? I don't know. I need to hear more without those heavy cuts. I'd like to just hear them speak on their own. It's a positive linguistic, but is that part of the same boy that I love you, Mom, this good boy?
Unhoused, totally agree. This is why, in my opinion, these quote unquote experts on YouTube are so dangerous, because they give people these lower level armchair detectives. Oh, look, so-and-so says this and this person said this, even though they don't have any clue what they're even talking about. It gives them credibility to their fucking theories to run with.
The mom chuckled after saying he was going to walk through the doors. The stepdad chuckled as well. I don't do a lot with body language analysis, but you never know with someone being nervous. So I'd like to know why it took so long to come out.
It didn't, though. Again, he's completely acknowledging that he doesn't know what he's even talking about here, because they did an interview with Duchess on the 3rd and another news interview on the 4th.
People, I think, have the expectation that parents are going to be right out in front of that camera.
It does, Duchess.
Right out with police, pleading, not waiting, not silence, not having to break silence. Wouldn't I expect Mom to be giving away more signals? She gave away a couple signals that there was trouble in the household, but no, based on the very short and highly edited video. Someone mentioned that
and trouble in the household doesn't automatically lead to parents do something to their child.
Mom and stepdad sat down for an interview with a YouTuber. I haven't seen that. I'm able to find it. So if someone has, you can send it to me. I'll be able to get more insight with that.
He's done numerous videos, Revival. He comes up quite a bit in our carryover. He was the one that right after Seth came out and publicly told everybody they could F off because they were working together. The Proudfoots and Seth were going to work together. Seth then appeared on Peter Hyatt's next to Peter Hyatt as Peter Hyatt trashed Katie the very following day, not even 12 hours later. He's done quite a few. Right, Twist?
Could their words be tainted by any backlash they're receiving from the public? Yes. Most, I think, parents will say, I don't care what anyone says, find my son. Find my son. Mom also said, I don't know where he's at. I don't like that expression. I've seen that in other cases. Where he's at is where is he? But where is he at can sometimes be used at almost like a psychological description of where someone's at. They're happy, they're not happy, they're in a bad space, they're not in a good space, that sort of thing.
Bluefish, thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to the cabana.
So, yeah, I look forward. I didn't find it, but I would like to see that. I'll take a look. Yeah, another good point is that there was a young autistic boy who ran away, but actually was found hiding or stuck in a chimney, and he was alive. The problem is that if he wasn't a runaway and he wasn't on social media, as the days go by, then where would he be at? And they're combing the place, and they've been combing the place. What person would he have to count on that could help him survive? Lana, thank you for finding that link and send it. That'll be good. Someone is saying that on the channel, the stepfather, I assume, spoke about being strict. Again, that is something that is being brought up, and I think the person commenting there is correct about that. Being strict without anyone asking, offered while he's missing. Offered while he's missing. Remember, everything has to be put in context there. Try to remember saying goodnight, I love you to your kids. You probably don't have a need to respond back to me and say, hey, wait a minute, I say good, I love my kids, because you do, and you don't have a need to persuade anyone. It's the context is what is most important with that. Interesting. I like to see that too. Someone wrote the stepdad said that they all had a good relationship with the real dad, but the real dad was asked and said he wouldn't comment on that. He sounded like what most people would sound like. Sebastian, if someone has you, run, get to the first adult, call 911, grab anyone. It's kind of a normal response that we would expect, rather than attempt to portray something as normal. Remember, we're not dealing with reality, but we're dealing with people's perception of reality through their words. Any more questions on this? I may do another video if I'm able to hear that podcast.
Yeah, maybe you should have done a little bit further investigating into their. They didn't speak. They were avoiding it.
And have some more quotes that I'd like to look at. So my conclusion is that mom is withholding information about what went wrong prior to his going missing. And that stepfather's comments.
And we know that there's stuff that absolutely is being withheld for whether it's Sebastian's dignity or other people's. We know that. So again, okay.
Particularly the claim about the door is concerning. And it's a little more nuanced than I have time to explain, but when after the amount of time that has passed, that he hasn't been found, for the stepfather and or the mother to talk about the boy walking back in, it may be a subtle blaming of the victim. Now, if he was a runaway and that was said on day one, I wouldn't consider a subtle blaming of the victim. Remember, human nature is such that the more that you accept it for what it is, the better you can be at criminal analysis. But human nature is such that we will do anything in our minds to justify guilt, to mitigate guilt, to alleviate guilt if we can. And one of the things we look for in criminal analysis is a subtle shifting of responsibility over to the victim. By saying that when he walks back in the door, not when he's found, but when he walks back in the door. Very concerning to me.
Can anybody else take my computer and throw it away? Oh, God. And we wonder why we're here. Truly. March 8th, and this was happening already.
Mom and stepfather had a 3-hour phone conversation the night before. Interesting. Someone wrote about the phone conversation, check the route to Memphis. Very good point. I'm sure they're doing that. Great question from Karen. When was the last time someone else saw Sebastian? I appreciate that. And I'm sure that the investigators will look at that. Collaterals, teachers, pediatrician, coaches, everyone gets checked with. It just by routine. So I think we're going to see probably some re-interviewing happening. And one other announcement, I'm hoping to perhaps cover the case of some of the language of the nurse who at the border of Mexico said she was sexually assaulted, and some of the things that are in the news of late with that one.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Take it away. Nope. That was that. Okay, so then we have also on the 8th. Let me pull up a couple more. We might have to skip a couple of these because I'm tapping. I'm going to tap. Yeah, that just drives me nuts right there. Whew, that drives me nuts. Okay, palate cleanser really quick. You guys want me to do a 4.5 and cut this one in 2? Okay, let's look at this. Why is there no audio? Okay, so oh, it's a brow tutorial. Ah! Okay, that was good. That was good. Maybe Smiley needs that brow tutorial. You guys want to break it up into 2? We can do a 4.5 and do. That's funny as shit. Yeah, that's great. Thank you for that. I think we should do a 4.5 because we're 3.5 hours in and we still got. Okay, let's do that. Let's end it for tonight. And we'll come back and do Ikmel, Mo and Co, and the lab for the 8th. And then we'll combine the 8th, 9th, and 10th because there's not a whole lot on the 9th and 10th. The 11th, there's stuff that pops off again. But I think that's a good way to kind of wrap it all up. Oh, yeah. Okay. That just... You guys want to see Julie's parody again? We can end it out with that. Let me go grab Julie's parody. Oh, God, these people. Oh, they make me so mad. Okay, let's do this. We'll do a 4.5. It's late. I'll try to come on earlier tomorrow in the day. I have appointments in the morning. Oh, see, I'm tired. Sorry, guys. Thank you all for hanging with me and being all over. No, Music City Mom, Mo and Co is another really good example, like Duchess, of how they had some opinions, but they reeled it back in. Like they had some healthy speculation of things that, kind of stood out to them, but they reeled it back in and they were like, yeah, we're not going there. There's nothing there. Like, I want you guys to see it for yourselves though, because I think it's within healthy speculation and awareness being brought versus how these others treat it. I'm trying to bring in everybody so you can get your own opinion on what is awareness and people that are bringing true, like, honest help or like trying to bring awareness to these without overly speculating. I think it's a good example to kind of give a wide variety. So Mo and Co, I think, is very, it's a very good comparison. Does that make sense? Amy, thank you for being here for 3 months. Yeah, Kenna, his associates, I think I'm going to do a segment on that too. He associates with some people that have very extremist type views and very incel, immature, very ridiculous in nature. So none of his behavior shocks me at this point. But again, I don't see Aiden any different than some of the other red or green who hopped into this and used rumors and speculation as a basis of their fact line to build a story into. Unfortunately, he's not the first. He's just one of the bigger ones with a huge platform. But again, go back to Jessica Kent. It's all about the money. I think I opened that up the perfect way because here is people with almost 1 million subs and they're being told by professionals to go into true crime because that's where the money's at. And you see what a huge venture we have ahead of us to change this. Oof. Okay, here we go.
Everybody, we'll talk about the footprints at the retention pond in a minute. We have, I believe it's Chris Proudfoot calling in. Is that you, Chris?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Chris, we can hear you. You sound upset.
Damn straight I'm upset.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. What made you upset?
What the hell does my shoe size got to do with the price of chickens in China? My shoes or my shoe size? Nobody's business.
People had questions because of the footprints by the retention pond.
I mean, you got these creators out there now talking about my feet, talking about my shoes.
Your investigator is looking in your neighborhood.
Well, SF Investigates is going back to construction site, that was searched, and there was some dog.
Terry, do you want a link to come up? Do you want a link? Sorry, guys, I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, I wasn't listening. Terry, do you want to come up or do you... Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. No, you don't want a link? Okay. Terry's like, no. I'm like, okay. Yes. Just write it out then, Terry. Oh, the mods. You guys are killing me. I'm like, I'm being yelled at and getting timed out of fucking game. Rusty. Farganoggin. Fuck. What the Farganoggin fuck, you guys? Terry, do you want to come up with me tomorrow? We can go back to it tomorrow and open with it if you want to come up with me tomorrow. You just have to tell me when you're working. So you can text me. Text me and we'll arrange it so you can come up there. But you know you're going to leave Revival on the edge of her seat and she's going to get another dead leg and she's going to fall over. I may not be able to wait till tomorrow. You guys are a mess. Okay, I'm going to play this while you guys argue in the comments. Terry can text me and we can go tomorrow. Revival, behave.
Oh, saw some footprints, and the dog said it was like a size 10 shoe. It's asking me, what's my size shoe?
What is your shoe size?
Well, it's not a 10.
Is that right?
Nope.
Okay. Are you an 11 or 12?
Whoa. Let me set the record straight, okay? I'll make it crystal clear. I do not wear a size 10 shoe. I have worn a size 14 shoe since I was in the 3rd grade.
You had size 14 shoes in the 3rd grade?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. How tall are you, Chris?
How tall I am is nobody's business. What does my height have to do with the price of Twizzlers in Taiwan?
All right. I'm not trying to upset you. So you are a size 14.
Yeah, that's right, ma'am. 14. In fact, just to educate you a little bit, I wear 14 in regular shoes, but in my boots, I'm an 18.
Is there supposed to be something funny about this? Like, what the fuck is funny here? What is funny here?
Boy, boots get real pointy at the toes. I'm telling you the truth. In high school, my nickname was Bigfoot. They called me Bigfoot Proudfoot. My buddies be like, hey, Bigfoot Proudfoot, what's up? My feet are not unusually big. I got regular sized feet. It's my toes that are extra long. If you must know, don't see why it's anybody's business that I got long toes. Sometimes I don't clip my toenails every week. I like them long. So I got to get extra long shoes. Okay? Am I making myself crystal clear?
You're making yourself look like a complete unhinged lunatic, really, Julie.
Don't be looking at my shoe size and trying to think I'm the same shoe size as...
And let me just say, if this was about Seth, I'd feel the same fucking way. This is disgusting and weird as fuck.
As that, my stepson. Because I don't. I'm not answering any more questions. Just remember, my shoes or my wife's shoes are nobody's business. Don't go looking behind my closet door. It's nobody's business, and it's got nothing to do with this case. If y'all would just stop talking about my shoes, I'd appreciate it.
Wow, this new form of advocacy is a real humdinger.
Thank you.
Okay, fuck that. What? What is this? A child being missing and mocking the parents? There's nothing funny about that. Oh, Ken is watching in the beginning. Ken is in the beginning of it and commenting. We're going to end and Ken is going to be like, what the fuck is going on here? I don't even know what to say about that, truthfully. Besides, Julie, there might be a reason why you didn't make the green team, except for those people are just as unhinged. But Julie didn't get the memo that she is taking salacious rumors that they have started that don't really have a basis in fact and doing something about it, which I got to give Julie props for, because on one hand, like, Julie is pushing, like, she is doing what in typical situations you'd want. She's putting things into action. Unfortunately, though, she's being fed misinformation. So when she pushed into action, her form of action is based off of misinformation that she was led to believe by the green team. So therefore, she can't sit with the green team because she took them literally and turned their rumors into action. So they're going to shit on her because how dare she do something about it? They're just trying to get, sway public perception with it. In the typical sense, like, you want somebody that's going to put action behind something, but she can't sit with them because she didn't get approval. It's fucking crazy to me. But she can't understand that that's why she can't sit with them, is because she's taking rumors. It's crazy. Yeah, three sides. She's so caught up and she can't see any way out of it. And she don't want to either. Like, this is her response to come back out swinging at Chris. It's not okay. Extremely misguided, extremely, in my opinion, unhinged, extremely well-informed, misinformed. Sorry, not well-informed, misinformed. Thought she was going to get to sit with them and doing everything to get that praise. Yeah, yeah. It's crazy to see that. All right, y'all. I'm going to get out of here for the night so I can put Kyle to bed. Kenna, when you catch up to this part, thank you for hanging out with us. Kenna's over there. We'll do a daytime live stream tomorrow. These nighttime live streams are kicking my ass because this is not I'm not on it. Yeah, Revival, she actually said she was going to quit criticizing law enforcement and she was going to take down some of her content about Sumner County and the corruption when they were trying to make it look like Seth was working with law enforcement. Again, I'm going to follow it up with this, or end it with this. I can't even talk. I'm so tired. You guys are getting a good view, I think, of what turned this case south. It wasn't where a lot of people think that this case turned. No, it had already turned. It had already started turning way before a lot of people even realized. When people got into this case, sides were chosen. There was already sides. There was already narratives being pushed. This is how they build these cases. They have to do this in order to have continuing content. Yeah, that was gross. Elizabeth, that was gross. Truly. Absolutely. Three sides true crime. We'll get through it. I promise. It might take us 10 months, but we'll get through it. And I hope, I'm sorry, guys. I hope people at the end of this can see the harm that this stuff is doing to these cases and these missing children and missing persons in general. Like, it's so useless that they're doing this. And now we have, but it's for the money. We all know it is. So I will see you guys with a 4.5, hopefully tomorrow, and we'll catch up. I'll probably do the same thing. Catching up with current time. I'm just not giving Lore Lodge, like, we tried 4 months ago. He knew 4 months ago he was extremely misguided, and he continued on and went deeper in. Aw, Revival. Thank you. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you, Pika. Okay, good night, y'all. Mods, go to bed. Everybody go to bed. Get some sleep. Okay, bye.